Yeah, I met RicoKnows, that's my big bro. All he knows is making money and sports betting on the low. But if you really know him, then you know he loves college football and that transfer portal. I had to show him my film from high school.
Yes, this is
He
why
said, kid, you got talent, you could get a division I offer. If you don't get it, the process is backwards. Yeah, I just wanna put on for the home team. We just lost to the rival and I can't let it go. I can tell that you don't know what I mean. I can tell that you don't know what I mean. I can tell that you don't know. That's cause you don't know. RicoKnows, Rico, that's my big bro. All he knows is making money and sports betting on the low. But if you really know him, then you know he loves college football and that transfer portal. Rico told me about UFC. Rico told me about CFB. Rico said I'm better than my film. I'm a D1 athlete. Rico smarter than you think. Yeah, Rico got a mind of his own. You don't know, RicoKnows, that's my big bro. He told me to take the process seriously, so I went back to the film and found something they don't see. Yeah, we get better every day. I'm gonna make my brother proud. And if you ask me how, that's cause you don't know. RicoKnows, that's my big bro. All he knows is making money and sports betting on the low. But if you really know him, then you know he loves college football and that transfer portal. Rico told me about UFC. Rico told me about CFB. Rico said I'm better than
Hey, what up, YouTube, TikTok, the whole damn world? Shout out to you guys. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Decided to bring back the daily podcast, the daily live streams where I'm going to sit here, answer your questions, do a Q&A with you. Yes, I will be doing a question and answer section during the show after I get through all the teams, right? So we're going to talk about two different conferences in this show. I'll talk about the ACC and Conference USA, all their matchups, all the results from last week, and then all their matchups. And in between, I will go answer your questions, and we'll have a long talk about it. There's no time limit on these shows, just so you're aware. Thank you guys for being here. But want to do a couple things, right? I want to remind you guys, questions should be orientated to the ACC and the Big 12. So don't, or excuse me, and Conference USA. Don't start asking me about a bunch of random shit. I don't care. A lot of things you're going to hear me say are like, yo, that's MVP level data. Meaning I'm not going to give you any picks against the spread. I'm not going to tell you what props I believe in, all this other stuff. I'm not doing any of that. We're here to have a conversation and a discussion about the matchups. These are free videos. If you're an MVP, don't be asking those questions in the chat. If you're not an MVP, go become one. It's really simple. There's a join button here on YouTube. All you have to do is hit join. You'll be an MVP. Or you can do the smart thing, not join on YouTube, but go to Patreon. That's in the details section. Patreon is an app, kind of like OnlyFans, except we keep our clothes on, right? I don't get naked. If you go to Patreon, download the app from the App Store, search RicoKnows, you'll find the homepage. And it looks just like this. I'll show you here. This is what the homepage looks like. And if you scroll, you'll see RicoKnows. It's big as hell. We got over 6,000 members. Shout out to all these guys. And this is what bothers me when people show up to my live stream. I'm live streaming right now on TikTok. And they write, how do I become an MVP? It's like 6,000 people figured it out, bro. 6,000 people. Imagine you not figuring it out. But 6,000 people did. It's because it's a generation of test takers, standardized test takers. These kids have never opened up an encyclopedia in their life and had to find anything. I don't think they've ever done a book report. They don't know what the Dewey Decimal System is. They don't know how to find information. So, like, if you saw something, you were really interested in it, you'd go out and search for it. But instead, you want to ask me, that doesn't scale well. Like, that doesn't go to scale. 6,000 people ask me over and over, how do I become an MVP? Every day, all day. And I don't even want you. I don't need you. I don't like you. Because you're not even looking for information. And if you're sitting here and you're going, Rico, how do I become an MVP? If you haven't searched for it and looked for it because you want it, I don't want you. Because I know what's going to happen. Then you're going to get to the platform and you're going to start going, where's the picks? Where's the picks? Where's the picks? Motherfucker, you want to know what the picks are? I'm selling analysis, not the picks. This is the week 1 video right here. It is 3.5 hours long of me breaking down every single game in college football. Because I don't sit there with a cheat sheet and go, yo, here it is, guys. Here's where you're going to get rich. It's not what I do. It's not what you're paying for. You're paying for analysis. And then I give you analysis and I help you. So what's your win-loss record, Rico? What's your total? Like, bro, what's yours? Whatever yours is, it could be better. And that's why you have me. And that's why I exist. That's real. We've been doing this for 3 years. It's not a game. It's not a joke. We're not lying to you. Everything's there. Results, transparent. But I'm not going to answer your specific question. I'm not trying to make a believer out of you. So when one individual person comes up to me and goes, Rico, what were your picks this weekend? Well, if you went good, I'll let you know. I'll join. But I'm not trying to convince you individually. I don't give a shit about you, bro. I don't know you from Adam. We're never going to break bread and kick it. We're not friends. I'm just keeping it real with you. And I know you're not going to be an annual MVP because there are annual MVPs. We have many of them. Annual MVPs pay for the whole year in advance. You get 2 months for free, $255. So they pay $255 for the whole year, and they go UFC every single Saturday. You guys are excited. The games are this weekend. The games are Saturday. Bro, we got UFC fights every Saturday. Every Saturday, all year. It's fight night every single Saturday, and we're on the Discord stage. We're in there live streaming everything, talking, finding our pockets and our spots to make our money, and I'm a hell of a lot better at UFC than I am college football. And I'm an expert at college football. I know every team. I can tell you everything you want to know about a college football team. It's different with UFC because it's only 2 people. But nonetheless, Patreon. Search Patreon, search RicoKnows, and you will find all the information. And I'm talking everything. This is week 0 right here. This is week 0's results show. I don't know how long it is. It might be an hour long. The results shows from this past weekend, we did really well. We went 1-0 on the locks. I saw all 5 games. Only one of them I felt was a lock, and I went ahead and said it. Hey, I think Kansas is way better than Fresno State. Fresno State is terrible. This is not the Fresno State you think of. This is not Tedford. This is not what you think. Kansas is good. They're going to beat the brakes off of Fresno State, guys. That's a lock. They're going to cover that spread, and they did. They covered it easily. They scored 30-something points. These guys scored 1 touchdown all game. The rest of them, we had a coin flip game we didn't bet on. Tell the guys, hey, don't be doing that shit. I took K-State, but it doesn't matter. It's a coin flip game. We're not doing that. And then the other one here, the lean, was Western Kentucky. I really believe in them. And I told you they're going to cover the spread against Sam Houston because I don't believe in anything that coaching staff is doing. And that's just keeping it real. And then the last one was Stanford, Hawaii. Another coin flip. Take a stab in the dark. Pick who you want to pick. Unfortunately, Ben Gobranson was worse than we anticipated. But I pick every game. That doesn't mean we bet every game. Shout out to the MVPs. They know this. So that's not how that goes. Player props. I wrote 15 and 15. It's really 13 and 13. I'm not going to pull up the chart during this podcast. I'm not going to pull up the chart during these videos. You're not going to be able to see any of my picks, any of my stuff, none of that. In here, we're going to pull up schedules, rosters, box scores, and we'll talk from that perspective. By the way, we're going to let the chat build up. So when you guys are there and you guys want to ask me a question, just write it once. Do not spam the chat. Write it once, and I will get to you. I promise. If you're watching on TikTok right now, all you got to do, move over to YouTube, drop it in the chat over there. I do not answer chat here on TikTok. I can't read it. I can't see it. It doesn't say on the screen, and I don't get paid for answering your guys' questions. YouTube, they pay me. So that's where I'm at, just so you're aware. I will be getting to the chat here in a second. I already see Willie Bobo up in here. Shout out to him. Willie Bobo, the truth. But anyways, let's get focused here. So that's Patreon. Remember, download Patreon, search RicoKnows, change your life. Change your life. Another thing you need to be aware of before we get into the games is Twitter. I have a Twitter account. I'm on there all day, every day. Twitter is RicoKnows. You'll see the blue label. RicoKnows TikTok, all one word. RicoKnows TikTok, all one word. Been on Twitter for a little bit. We're building. We got 7,500 followers. It takes time. They don't know who I am. They have no clue that I'm an expert. These guys will talk down to me like I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, I'm a fucking genius, bro. Nonetheless, in here, all the greatest news. I don't go to TikTok and make videos on everything. TikTok is a throwaway account, a throwaway shit. All that is trolling nonsense. If you want information and you want to learn about players beforehand, you follow the Twitter, not the TikTok. TikTok is trash. That is just a bunch of teenagers. It's filth. It's cancer. I don't even like it. So we're over here. And if you look, obviously Rasul Faison just got approved for his waiver. Shout out to the NCAA for being bum-ass dudes and taking forever to approve this waiver. But he's ready to go, and he's going to play football this season. That'll be the starting running back for South Carolina. This is a Utah State transfer. If you don't remember, 2 years ago, I told the world, I made a video, Deep Hidden Gem, third-string running back at Utah State, Faison, and I said, yo, this dude doesn't get enough carries. He was behind a running back named Booth, another running back, I'm forgetting his name right now. It was 2 JUCO guys ahead of him. And I said, the third-string running back at Utah State is amazing. What made me pick the third-string running back at Utah State is amazing. And this was 2 years ago. 2 years later, he's the starting running back in the SEC. That is a true story. That is the truth. If you go search for it, you'll find it. I'm letting you know now. Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk about. Look at this joint, man. A 6th-round draft pick got released today. 6th-round draft pick. It is Kyle McCord, the nation's leading passer from last year. Shout out to the ACC. This is an ACC episode. I'm going to talk about the ACC in depth. And I'm looking at Kyle McCord. Bro, he got set up. He got set up, man. They're not giving him a chance to be the franchise quarterback. He's the future, bro. He's everything. He got set up by the organization. They didn't like him because he was rich. He was too proud. He had too much confidence. They needed to humble him. So they made him fall to the 6th round. Do I sound like an idiot? I sound like them fucking morons? The whole drove of Shador fans who do this shit sound like idiots? Here we have a guy going in the 6th round. This man led the country in passing last year. At Syracuse, of all places, he led the country in passing. Former starting quarterback at Ohio State and can't make it in the NFL. Got released. Draft pick. Where's everybody at, bro? Where's everybody at? Nonetheless, if you want to know what's going on, look, here's an example. My information post. You will never see this on TikTok. This is all the notable cuts in the NFL. I made a list of all the people who've been cut in the NFL, notable cuts. You won't see that on TikTok. This is why you need to follow the Twitter, okay? And shout out to this bum-ass dude, Louisiana Recruits, who tried to tell me, this is why you make the big bucks, Rico, not the Shador stuff. Shut up, bro. Don't ever give me tips on how to run my platform and what I do. You'll see it here. I got this right. True freshman, shout out to Evan Kramer. True freshman starting at center for Troy. Predicted it in the offensive line position podcast video. You want to watch that? It's here on YouTube. Click on the videos tab. Go down, watch all the position podcasts. You might need to be a minion. If you didn't know, on YouTube, it's a little different than Patreon. Patreon, $25, you're an MVP. YouTube, there's like a $2.99 one. It's called Minions. You can watch all the podcast stuff. Then there's a $5.99 one. Throw that shit away. Don't do it. And then there's MVPs on YouTube. And you're good to go. Nonetheless, also on here that you'll never see on TikTok is my preseason top 25. This is my preseason top 25 going into the season. You see it up there. Number 1 is Clemson. And then in parentheses, I put my projected record on these guys. I hope you can see it on your phone or your computer, wherever you're watching. My projected record on every one of these teams. Clemson, 12-0. I think they're going undefeated. Texas, undefeated. Alabama, undefeated. LSU, A&M. And look at the records. Penn State, Ohio State. Now, these are all in order by talent. Understand, these are in order by talent. Obviously, Florida down here at 6-6 does not deserve to be in the top 25. They're the 17th most talented team in America. They're very good, but they have such a difficult schedule. I see them going 6-6. Bowl game. Okay, so when you look at these teams, there's South Carolina, 24th best team in the country, talent-wise. I still have them with a losing record this year, 5-7. I sound crazy because everybody thinks the world of them. I'm letting you know. That's where I'm at. And then there's some other notable projected win totals, and they're going to matter because I'm going to talk about some of these teams today. And that's Boise State. I think they're going 11-1. Liberty's going 11-1. JMU, 11-1. Toledo, 10-2. Louisiana, 10-2. Western Kentucky, 10-2. Buffalo, 10-2. Georgia Southern, 10-2. Middle Tennessee State, 10-2. And San Jose State, 10-2. Now, I sound crazy. This can only happen if there's no upsets in college football. There's always upsets. And more importantly, injuries are going to occur. Poor decision-making is going to occur. The teenager effect is going to occur, meaning these guys are not reliable professionals. They're teenagers. Things are going to go wrong. But today, if I have to make an assessment on the rosters and the teams and the players and everything, this is what I got for you. You can't see any of this on TikTok. That's why you got to go to the Twitter. Follow the Twitter. Follow RicoKnows. And then get to Patreon and become an MVP. It'll change your life. That's all I can tell you, MVPs. Shout out to you. And MVPs are here in the chat. They know. Once again, if you're here on YouTube, there should be a button right here that says join. There are other tabs. There's a videos tab and there's a live tab. Know the difference. Video tabs, you can see all the videos I've posted. And I've posted all these future videos. But notice, they have a little green says members only. If you're not a member, you can't even see these. You got to be a member to see these. And I went over every position group. Rico, what do you think about the linebackers and so-and-so? I talked about the linebackers on every team in every conference. I talked about the defensive linemen on every team in every conference. The offensive line episodes, I made those free. You can learn about the offensive line on every team in America. There's part 3 There's also a part 2 and a part 1. There's part 2 right there. And it doesn't say members only. These are free. I unlocked them for you guys. I unlocked the quarterbacks episode. We just passed that over here. There's a linebackers episode. There's a quarterbacks episode right here. You want to learn about every starting quarterback in America? It's in this video. It's 2 hours long. It's awesome. Watch it at 1.5 playback speed and enjoy it. And while you're there, check out the UFC results shows. See why the guys are making so much money. See why the UFCs are rich. See why they're not going anywhere. Try to figure out why we have annual MVPs and why on Saturdays we'll watch football games all the way until the night. And then once that UFC fight card starts, we ain't talking to you guys about anything else but UFC fights because that's our year-round play. That's our year-round thing. We don't go to baseball. We don't go to basketball. We don't go to none of that. WNBA, all you losers just betting on stuff because it's a professional sport, you're losing your ass. We go to UFC because I know it better than anybody. Former hand-to-hand combat instructor, been a martial arts fighter my whole life. Yes, my whole life. It was my most recent job before I became a content creator. I was a martial arts instructor. I am that guy. I can see 2 fighters and tell you what's going to happen. I analyze fighters different from everybody else in the world, brother. And I'm gangster with it. And we've been getting them right for 3 years. Shout out to the MVPs. And that's what you see over here. All these are UFC fights. Oh, I don't know anything about UFC, Rico. I don't even watch it. I don't know. Yeah, we got a lot of those guys too. They don't know anything about it. They sat down and started watching it, and then they go, wait, this is like scouting reports. Rico talking about what gym they train at, what their skill set is, what their experience is. I'm doing everything just like if they're on a team. But anyways, shout out to you guys. So yeah, all this is under the videos tab. But if you go and you click on the live tab, boom, you will see the live tab. Now, these are all the pending shows this week. I've already posted them. So we have an ACC show. Tomorrow's the Big 10 and the MAC. Wednesday is Big 12 and the American. Thursday is the SEC and Sun Belt. Friday is usually Mountain West and Independence. But unfortunately, because there's so many games Friday, we won't be doing a show Friday. So I'm just going to skip them, unfortunately. Nonetheless, you want to go in here, you could watch the NFL draft parties that I did. 5, 7, look at this, 5 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours. I did 14 hours on the NFL draft. I'm watching it live. You can see my live reactions. What did Rico, what'd you think about this draft pick? Go watch it. Go watch it, bro. Linebacker rankings. Now, this is all leading up to the draft, what I thought about players before the draft. Then there's transfer portal rankings. Down here, I did transfer portal live streams where I talked about running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers. Every single position group I covered. Top 25 guys in the transfer portal at every single position group, okay? Everything's been covered, and it's all here, and it's easy to find. It's all in one spot. It's also all on Patreon. You go to Patreon, there's playlists. You can do a quick search. You can put in a keyword up top. It'll find a video for you. You don't even have to think about it. It's the best damn library in the world. All right, enough of that crap. Let's talk about the ACC, bro. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you once again. You guys move over to YouTube. This guy's now, look at this guy just wrote. He just wrote, sorry, I'm back. How much is MVP per month? Get the fuck out of here, bro. I'm not here to spoon feed you. I'm not here to give you personal information, Logan Barrier. There are thousands of people, and you want me to talk to you, convince you to buy something. Get the fuck out of here, bro. That's silly. That's absolutely silly. If you want to know how much it is, you'd go to the website, you'd go to the app, and you'd see the prices. Fucking fool, man. That's why I don't like these guys. That's why I don't like them, bro. I'll talk about him like he's not here. I know this one guy, bro, he smells like shit every time he walks by. Just keeping it real. Let's talk about the ACC. So they had one game this past weekend. It was Stanford against Hawaii. I famously took Stanford in this matchup. I thought Stanford had a better pedigree of player and that they would be competitive in this game. I understood it was a coin flip game. Don't get me wrong. I think the world of Hawaii. I love everything Timmy Chang's doing. I like their little quarterback, all this stuff. Some concerns in this game. Let's talk about Hawaii first. Hawaii, we saw the template on how to beat Hawaii. The template is line up and smash them in the mouth. They can't stop an 8-minute drive. Now, if you're an NFL coach and you're a failed NFL player, shout out to Frank Wright and Andrew Luck, you don't have a fucking clue how to call a game. So you see a 9-minute drive work for you, running the ball, ramming it down their throat, as my dad used to say, right? I was a youth football player. My dad would tell us, we're going to ram it down their throat. I had no idea what that really meant in real life. I didn't know what that meant. Children should not be saying this. We were saying it, bro. Let's ram it down their throats. Yeah. It's crazy, bro. Anyways, back to what we're saying here. All Stanford had to do was run the rock. That's all Stanford had to do. And instead, they got their amazing quarterback, Ben Branson, and they said, bro, show them how you do that 13.2 QBR. 13.2 QBR? That's absurd. absolutely absurd. He would average 3 yards an attempt. I'm not joking. He had 109 yards passing on 30 attempts. Why are we throwing it 30 times? This ratio of pass to run, it was 43 rushes to 30 passes. And I think it was more than 30 passes. If you think about it, Gobranson was getting sacked at some point. Those weren't really rushes. Those were called pass plays. So it might have been 33 passes to 40 rushes. Insane ratio. There's no way you can do this. Now, I wrote to Stanford. During the game. I wrote to them on Twitter, and I just said, hey, Elijah Brown can't be worse than this. Elijah Brown can't be worse than Ben Gobranson. What I saw from Ben Gobranson, Elijah Brown is so much better. If you don't know Elijah Brown, this is the young quarterback at Stanford, former 4-star quarterback. I think he's 5 stars if you ask me. Elijah Brown started at Mater Dei for 4 years. It was Bryce Young, the starting quarterback. He left Alabama to go win a Heisman. The next year, the starting quarterback was Elijah Brown, and he's been the 4 years in a row the starting quarterback on the best team in America. And I truly believe there were better quarterbacks at Mater Dei than Ben Gobranson, trying to beat him out for the position. So now you get these knuckleheads showing up, and they tell you they're running a pro-style offense, and they need a quarterback to call out blocking schemes, audibles, pre-snap reads. I don't need Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck at Stanford. I need a bum-ass dude to hand off the ball to Micah Ford. Micah Ford, I know you guys have seen that picture. Shout out to the MVPs. There's that picture in the mobile home. You guys seen it at the trailer park? And they got like a Bugatti parked next to the trailer. There's a Bugatti under the shade of in the carport. It's like a gray one. I think it's a Bugatti. Don't quote me, man. I'm not a car guy. I drive a Corvette. I don't know much about cars, but I know that. I know to go get the fast one. 2.8 seconds, bro. 0 to 60, 2.8 seconds. But anyways, there's that trailer with the Bugatti on it. That's fucking Micah Ford here, bro. Micah Ford's amazing. And I'm telling you, I don't know what that is. I don't know what they're doing. Micah Ford's good. 26 carries, 113 yards. Micah Ford could have had 40 carries. He was ready. Dude had the juice. And that little Cole Tab is nice. Don't you forget it. I don't know why our chat's disconnecting, reconnecting. We're going to figure that out. Sorry about that, MVPs. Not sure why the YouTube chat is disconnecting, reconnecting. Can I get a test message while we're in there? Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties first show of the year. If you can just write a test, I'd appreciate it in the chat. I'll do it myself. Boom. I'm hoping you guys can read that. Nonetheless, I want to talk about Cole Tab, number 33. He's doing the kickoff returns. He looks good. Remember, I'm focusing on the ACC for this video because, all right, thank you very much, Patrick Snipes, because I will talk about Hawaii on the Mountain West episode, which I'm not going to do. So maybe I should talk about them a little bit. But nonetheless, looking at the receiver room, C.J. Williams is him. C.J. Williams is the transfer, former Mater Dei guy. Him and Elijah Brown got to have continuity, bro. They used to play in high school together. We got to get him off the bench. Or we got to fire these dudes. You know, the only quitter bigger than Andrew Luck is Barry Sanders. The only quitter in the history of football Barry Sanders is a bigger quitter than Andrew Luck. That's it. Anyways, C.J. Williams looked good to me. They tried to target him a lot. Another guy they targeted a ton was Sam Roush. Sam Roush deserves to have, I think if you guys are going prop bettors out there, you got to look at Sam Roush and think he's going to go over 20 yards every game. They were off target. Branson sucks, but eventually they're going to make those passes, and he's going to get those catches. Sam Roush is an NFL caliber tight end. He's surrounded by bums, but he can play ball. They targeted him a lot, so just be aware of that going into future weeks and stuff. Defensively, I didn't see anything that really stuck out to me. I know these guys pretty well. Galvan coming from the FCS, transferring, who's supposed to go to Wisconsin, then he flips and comes over here. Like, I know all these guys. I'm not about it like that, okay? I'll look into Matt Rose and see what we're going to do for his rankings. And this goes for Hunter Barth as well. Like, I'm going to rank. You guys know the deal. I have a talent chart. We change numbers all season long. We'll see what happens there. Hawaii, I'll go over it briefly. Concerns are Luke Weaver can't play football. If the guy in front of you becomes hobbled and his foot is like, if you weren't watching the game, let me go back. If you weren't watching the game, Micah Algedo over here, little guy, about 5'10", comes from Bishop Gorman, one of the top high schools in the country, and he's a baller. And this guy can just lace it. He throws there. Think of a little mini Tua, a little Noah Fafita. He's that kind of guy. And he's going to put up crazy numbers in this offense for sure. He's got the receivers for it. I saw tremendous receivers. Obviously, we know about Cynical being good. Ashlock's always been good. But one of the guys that stuck out to me was Jackson Harris. I did not expect to see Jackson Harris dominating like that. If they got three guys, if they got Jackson Harris to join Cynical and Ashlock, this is going to be a problem in the Mountain West. They're gonna dice up some fools, especially if they hit full stride at that point later on. But at one point, Algedo gets injured. He hurts his foot and he's hobbling around all over the field. Now don't believe the hype, bro. He's out there. He's faking you, right? He's pulling the old Willy Bobo. That's what we like to call that. He's doing the okey doke, bro. He's out here. He's dope roping. He's out there pretending he's injured, and then he scrambles. He scrambles for a 30-yard run. You see this 30-yard run? This happened while he was injured. So careful with that. Nonetheless, baller. I hope he's okay. I hope he gets better. Hope he heals and he can play. Running back room, terrible. Running back room is not good. I don't care what Cam Barfield did. Landon Sims, slow white guy. They're not going to have a running game. They're just out here throwing it. The defense, they're headhunters, bro. Peter Manuma, number one. Talked about him in the, maybe I didn't talk about him in the defense. I talked about him on Twitter. I know I wrote about him on Twitter. And it's one of those situations where I told the world, hey, this guy's been starting for 3 years. He's a beast. Another Troy Polamalu type looking dude. I hate to compare every, Pacific Islander to Troy Polamalu, but it's a similar composition in play style, hairdo, and production. So shout out to him. Nonetheless, they did well. They won the game. That's all that matters to them. Hawaii needs to win games for the program, for Timmy Chang to keep his job. So I'm excited about that. Shout out to them. All right. Now, before I jump over to the chat, I'm going to go over this week's games. I'm going to go over them. They're going to take a while. I'm going to be long-winded. Let the chat build up, and then I'll get to you guys, okay? Please, if you got questions, drop it in the chat. I will get over there. You guys watching, move over to YouTube and ask the questions. Oh, you get blocked just for telling me this shit, bro. Fuck out of here. You don't get to just start popping off like we're friends. This guy says, oh, man, I respect your opinion. Your take is idiotic. Barry Sanders a quitter. Come on, man. Like, you just get blocked. We don't read TikTok comments to begin with. You got to be on YouTube anyways. I don't like people like that. I don't get down with you. I'm not a nice guy, bro. We're not going to break bread and kick it. I don't like you. I'm just letting you know. Nonetheless, let's look at the matchups here. East Carolina going on the road to North Carolina State. This is a favor for ECU to get paid, right? They got to go on the road and get beat by NC State. Some people are going to tell you somebody's getting upset here. There's going to be an upset somewhere. I don't see it. I think ECU is a terrible team. I see the over-under from Vegas. I don't believe it. I'm not high on ECU, and I expect North Carolina State to take care of business. Go out there and get it done. Should be easy. The next game on Thursday is Elon at Duke. Please understand, Duke is really good in the trenches. Like, Duke is really good, guys. People aren't talking about Duke. They have a difficult schedule. Probably don't expect much from Duke. I'm telling you, Duke has a good team. 2 years ago, or was it last year? It might have been 2 years ago. Elon played Duke, the first game of the season. And I went ahead and picked Elon to cover the spread. I think it was 33 points. And I was pathetically wrong. They didn't match up at all. And I think this team is better than that Duke team. So seeing the spread over there at 34.5, I'm just like, oh, that's silly. I don't see how Elon is even competitive in this game. I haven't checked the roster, haven't looked to see if they're going to be competitive or anything like that. But Duke, they're a problem, guys. They're mean. They're grown on the offensive line. Really good players, 4 returning starters, things like that. And then the defense just looks good. Shout out to them. They have a really good team. Yeah, shout out to Duke. I expect them to fully blow out Elon and it look ugly. Elon will not, this ball will be snapped, and then it'll just look ugly from there. Kennesaw State at Wake Forest. Speaking of ugly, this game probably won't have a lot of scoring in it. It really won't. I'm going to tell you, Kennesaw State, although they lost, I think they only won 2 games last year. If you watch Kennesaw in conference play, they beat Liberty, right? So they beat Liberty, and then they had like 2 games back-to-back going to overtime that they lost, but they went into overtime. So they were really close in those games. And then they won a game towards the end of the season. I'm trying to think who it was. And it was like the Super Bowl for them because they won that game. And the next week, they didn't even show up. They didn't show up even a little bit, bro. And it was, who was it? Oh, La Tech beat them like 33-0 last game of the season. They were absolutely gross. Kennesaw has good secondary players. Wake Forest has a 1,000-yard rusher, Damon Claiborne. All right, Claiborne. Damon's good. He can do his thing. But remember, this is a coaching staff in flux. They're changing out. They brought a bunch of Washington State transfers, Jake Dickert. They're trying to find the right pieces at Wake Forest, and I just don't know if we're going to get to that 51.5. I just don't think we're getting to 51.5. Kennesaw State's offense doesn't move like that, although their starting quarterback is Dexter Williams. He's a transfer from Georgia Southern. He came off the bench, helped Georgia Southern win a ton of games. He's a former transfer from Indiana, so he's a good player. I would say Kennesaw State has a very good secondary, and they got this is their year to be decent. This is their year to be competitive because they have some skill players that are finally developed. I'm talking about the Binyard brothers. Shout out to them. Irwin County 1A state champs back-to-back years here in Georgia. Been watching them for a long time. And they're actually going up against the Dallas brothers. Shout out to that. And the Dallas brothers play at Georgia Southern, or at least one of them does now. Still, I think the other brother transferred. But nonetheless, I look at this and I just think low-scoring affair. I would be much more interested in the over-under than the spread in that particular game. Shout out to Kennesaw State. Go out there. Make it annoying. Wake Forest. Robbie Ashford's your quarterback? Yeah. You know why? Because he's dual threatish. But should he be starting over Purdy? I don't know, man. Those are group of 5 quarterbacks. They really are. Both of them. Group of 5 quarterbacks. Speaking of group of 5 quarterbacks, there's Georgia Tech at Colorado. I know a lot of people are looking at that spread. They're confused. Everybody's kind of confused by this whole thing. Most people say when you're at home, you get 3 points just for home field advantage, according to the books and stuff. Well, if that's the case, then Georgia Tech should be favored by 7. Okay. I'm really high on Georgia Tech this year. I think they're amazing. I think if you sat down and you had tryouts, let's say we took all the players from Colorado and we took all the players from Georgia Tech, and then we took off all their jerseys and we just had them try out. So we said, like, all the quarterbacks over here and all the running backs over here and all the wide receivers over here, and you had tryouts to see who would make it to be the starting lineup for your team. I don't know how many Colorado players would make that 2 deep. It ain't a lot. It's not a lot. There's not a receiver. There's maybe 1 or 2 linemen, maybe 1 lineman. Maybe. No quarterbacks. No quarterbacks whatsoever. Juju Lewis couldn't start at Prince Avenue Christian. He couldn't start over Aaron Philo. I know this. Aaron Philo is the all-time leading passer in Georgia high school history. Aaron Philo's a baller. And you got Haynes King? Nah. Jaden Salter? These guys can't start at Georgia Tech. And I'm just going through it like that, position by position. There's no linebackers. There's nothing. Just 1 corner, maybe. Yeah, 1 corner. I'm just not there, guys. I think Georgia Tech is just a lot better than Colorado. I do. I went on a rant about this earlier. I think the Colorado, and I'll talk about it in the Big 12 episode, really, Colorado just lost too much in the draft. I mean, it's what happens to every team when they peak at a certain point. 3 years ago, Illinois peaked, and they dropped some games they shouldn't have dropped. Do you remember when they had the Brown brothers and they had like some players? They go back 3 years. I think they won 9 games, and they should have won double digit. They should have won 10 or 11 games, but they lost 1 or 2. But they had a really good team, and then they regressed for 2 years because they lost all their draft picks, and now they're back. That happens to teams, right? If you're a blue blood, perennial blue blood, you can probably restock, reload, all that stuff. But if you're these other fringe Power 4 teams that are fighting to stay relevant and be there, you're going to get a group of players, develop them, they're going to become seniors, they're going to perform great, and then they're gone. And now you got all these young guys that everybody talks about, these recruits, and those guys can't win on a Saturday. They're cool to talk about. They're great in their underwear. They're great at a camp. Not Saturdays. No. So I'm on Georgia Tech. Yeah. And it's pretty much like I'm good. Next game is Syracuse at Tennessee. The pedigree of Tennessee players is phenomenal. I think Tennessee has tremendous talent, not on the field. Understand what I'm saying? They have amazing depth. And if you look at Tennessee defensively, it's one of the best defenses in America. I understand Jamal McCoy's still recovering from his injury. He won't be back until midseason. I don't care. Syracuse is out there. Syracuse has 1 drug addict in the wide receiver room, right? Jonte Cook. I think he's addicted to drugs. At least that's why he's left multiple teams now. So you have Jonte Cook You have a true freshman at corner who they say can play both ways, Demetrius and stuff. I'm cool with everything. I get excited about him, right? Let's be real. Transfer portal. Pena leaves. So you lose your starter. A very productive starter. You're replacing your quarterback with somebody else's backup quarterback. And you went through the spring with a quarterback that you didn't think was good enough. So you went and replaced him with another quarterback you got after the spring. Meaning everything you did in the spring in preparation for this season, it's not there. It's not relevant. You've been preparing for this season since August. Or since June. That's what it looks like. Syracuse has been preparing for the season since June. When did Tennessee start preparing for this season? Right? Well, Joey Aguilar was stuck at UCLA, taking classes, working on it at night. But at least he got a jump on it, to some extent. I think they're kind of a similar boat in that regard, but Tennessee's so much better, especially in the trenches. I don't think this is close. I don't think this is a competitive game. I really don't. Next game is Duquesne and Pitt. I don't think that's even on my board. I got to go figure that out. Pitt's winning the game. Pitt's a very good team. Shout out to them. Pitt's a very good team. Boston College and Fordham. Fordham should not be competitive in this game. Shout out to Boston College. They're not great, but they're better than them. Eastern Kentucky and Louisville. Once again, you don't need to worry about it. Louisville's got this in the wrap. They got this in the bag, no problem. And we're going to get a lot of these matchups early in the season out of conference because these teams schedule bums. And then you get Alabama, Florida State. Florida State's got to go line up and play Alabama. Alabama supposedly had a down year. They won 9 games. They looked the part to me. Evaluating Alabama, I have them as one of my top. I think I have Alabama number 3 in the country. Number 3 overall when it comes to evaluating talent. Number 1 is Clemson. Number 2 is Texas. And then number 3 is Alabama. That's how I feel about it. I think Alabama's amazing. And when you look at Florida State, you got to pay attention sometimes, guys. I'm going to give you guys an example. If we go to our Discord server, shout out to our MVPs, we have the Discord where everybody talks and does their thing. We have an injury reports section, and they talk about injury reports. But if we go to general chat, in here they've been sharing depth charts. This is important. We look at the depth charts. And one of these depth charts is the Florida State depth chart. And if you look at Florida State's depth chart, what matters, I can't blow this up. I can't make this any bigger. Give me a second here. Sorry about that, guys. I will take care of that. Download. Wisconsin, Houston don't have Florida State? Wild, bro. Give me a second. Did we save it somewhere? Does it show up? There it is. All right. There we go. Sorry about that, MVPs. Sometimes we're making sausage in front of you guys. So when you're looking at Florida State's depth chart like this, some things to be aware of here. Obviously, Thomas Castellanos, not a vertical threat. Can't throw the ball downfield, but he can hit crossing routes. So look for him to throw shortly. Sawchuk didn't get named the starter. That's a little frustrating. I think he's probably better than Williams as far as by my assessment. Obviously, Roydell Williams been here a couple years, has continuity, but this is a new offense. So I don't care how long you've been at Florida State. You still got to pick up the whole new offense, right? Your offense coordinator comes in, former head coach at UCF, Gus Malzahn. Now he's here, brought over some UCF guys with him, and we're going to figure it out. Now, Jalen Lucas being the other running back or the other skill player they're using, I know a lot of people that gave me a lot of shit last year when I told you Jalen Lucas isn't him. I told you Jalen Lucas, you can't be trying to sell me on a skill player from Indiana. And everybody told me I was wrong. You're crazy. You don't know ball. He's amazing. All the Florida State fans attacked me. And what did he do last year? Absolutely nothing. So if you're hoping on him to do something this year, if that's what you're holding out for, cool, man. Do it. This one kind of concerns me. Seeing Landon Williams third or second, right? That concerns me a lot in the tight end room. And the reason for that is Landon Williams is the number 1 recruit tight end 2 years ago. He's the guy who got a lot of playing time last year as a true freshman, and he's the guy who's supposed to be a future NFL draft pick. And then you see the coaching staff bring in Randy Pittman Jr., who has been playing with Thomas Castellanos when they were both at UCF, has been playing in a Gus Malzahn offense, but he was supposed to come in and just be a second guy. He was supposed to come in and be the second tight end because he's not as dynamic. He's not as good as Landon Thomas. But apparently he is. Apparently he's better. And that's concerning for me because, when I see coaching staff make decisions where they start a player that they say is better, but I assess them not to be better, that's how coaches get fired. when coaches are starting the wrong players. And I say this all the time. I say this to you guys every single year. I'm like, hey, that guy should not be third string. He's supposed to be a starter. I said this to UTEP just the other day. I'll talk about it. I said this to UTEP just the other day. In the running back podcast. Go watch the running back podcast. It's posted on the live tab, or excuse me, on the videos tab. I'm talking about UTEP, and I go, hey, Hassan Wilson should be the starter. Hassan Wilson, third string running back. I know he should be the starter. I've evaluated all the running backs on this roster. That's the best one. And if he's not starting, you're going to get fired. Well, guess what happened? Hassan Wilson was just announced he's the starter for UTEP now. I don't need to see practice. I don't need to see these guys. I've seen all these players in every single rep of their life. And I know Hassan Wilson was the third string running back at Charlotte too. And he was the best running back at Charlotte. So it's these situations where I see guys on the bench like this and I go, wait, Landon Thomas should be starting. Deuce Robinson coming over from USC, good player. There are going to be some injury concerns. Squirrel White, good player from Tennessee. Yeah, they got players. I've broken down the entire offensive line. Luke Pettibone coming over from Wake Forest. That's a 3-year starter at Wake, and he's over here. Wake or yeah, Wake. I was about to say UAB, but no, Wake. UAB is Virginia. Pettis is back. He's going to be starting. That's cool. Defensively, I think you guys should be familiar with James Williams. James Williams was not on the field a lot for Nebraska last year. Nebraska had Ty Robinson, who, by the way, probably going to be starting for the Eagles as a 4th-round draft pick. A Super Bowl championship team found a starter in the 4th round. That's insane because that's how good Ty Robinson is. So I go watch Ty Robinson video. This is a true story. I'm watching Ty Robinson video in preparation for the NFL draft. And while I'm watching Ty Robinson, I'm seeing him get subbed out because they're alternating series. Or whenever he gets tired, this other kid comes in. His name's James Williams. And James Williams is getting sacks. He's getting after the quarterback. He looks really, really good. So I write in my notes, like I'm doing Ty Robinson. He's a beast. He's a good player, all this stuff. He was in my top 10 defensive ends and all this, everything. Or I loved everything about him. But I also wrote in my notes, hey, keep an eye on James Williams. And then he hits the transfer portal, and he comes over here to Florida State, and he's a starter. And I'm like, yeah, I knew that. You go from the bench in Nebraska to starting over here. The kid looks good, man. He's awesome. Then you got somebody like Justin Cryer. They told me he wasn't going to start, but here he is. He is starting. Justin Cryer, shout out to him, former Northwestern recruit. When he left Northwestern because of the hazing fiasco, I told the world on TikTok, I said, yo, I just went and watched this kid's huddle tape. I think he can play anywhere. And a week later, Florida State offered him, and he's here, and he's now starting for them. I was right. Again, heavy. And that's what I do. I evaluate talent. I can tell you who's good. Elijah Herring, if you recognize Elijah Herring, it's because he once led Tennessee in tackles. He was the leading tackler for Tennessee 2 years ago. Went over to Tennessee, was a backup. They had an injury to their starter. He became the starting linebacker. He led them in tackles 2 years ago. Then he transferred because they told him he wasn't going to have the starting job. They told him they're going to give it back to Feely when he got back from injury. So then he had to move over to Memphis, and he played well at Memphis. Played so well, he's now back starting on a Power 4 team, and here he is. He's an experienced guy, makes a ton of plays, been around a long time. I like him. I like him a lot. Shout out to him. Jack position, I expected Stephon Thompson to be the starter. He's not, so that's interesting to me to some extent. It is. Shout out to Earl Little in the starting lineup. Not bad. And you're going to notice, obviously, there's some players here missing. Cheyenne Brown not starting is very shocking to me, but it is what it is. But there's obviously a player missing. Conrad Hussey got kicked off the team for getting in a fight with the secondary coach. That's life. Can't be doing that, right? So, nonetheless, Florida State, I know the roster. I know the players. I think they have an offensive scheme that's going to be advantageous for them. A dual-threat quarterback, throwing it to tight ends in the flats, doing all that. But they're playing Alabama, and I just can't see Alabama losing this game at all. So that's a complete lock on the money line. And then the spread itself, if you want to know, be an MVP, we'll talk about it. But I really like Alabama over Florida State by a wide margin. I'll talk about Alabama in depth on the SEC day on Thursday. Next game is Virginia. They're going to be hosting Coastal Carolina. Virginia spent some money in the transfer portal. I'm going to try to go up here. Let me do this. I went over some of these teams already, but excuse me. I have our lads up. This is not always accurate. It's fairly accurate. It's not always accurate, though. But I want to show you guys something. Virginia spent money in the transfer portal. Now, they didn't get A-plus players, but they got some players that you can really believe in. I want you to understand how good Jamal Edgerrin is. Jamal Edgerrin is the truth. I've been talking about Jamal Edgerrin for 2 years, even if you haven't noticed. former leading receiver at FAU, Florida Atlantic, right? This was like 3 years ago. He was the leading receiver, and he was out, and the people he was out producing are in the NFL right now. I'm telling you, Jamal Edgerrin is great. And then he transferred, and he went to Purdue. Injured the first year at Purdue. I think tore an ACL, something. He was injured for the whole year. He was out. And then last year he finally played. I think Jamal Edgerrin is him. And I think this is a really good receiver to have for Virginia. Remember, Virginia had an amazing amount of production in the wide receiver room. Their leading receiver transfers to Notre Dame. And so now they're going to have to replace that production somewhere. And I think Jamal Edgerrin is that guy. He's a traditional X wide receiver. If you don't know what that means, let me explain. XYZ, you know the alphabet, right? XYZ. X is your outside receiver. Think Megatron. Think Terrell Owens. X is your number one receiver. He's the number one guy. X receivers, they're on the line of scrimmage, and they're going to beat you deep, and they're bigger guys. That's Jamal Edgerrin. Big, tall guy, going to beat you deep, that kind of deal. Beat you on post routes, fades, post corners, maybe a deep comeback, things like this. Then you have Ys or slots. Your Y receiver is your slot receiver, XYZ, okay? It's your slot receiver. It could also be your tight end, depending on different formations. That's going to be this little guy over here, Cameron Courtney. And then you have your Z wide receiver. That's the guy that's off the line of scrimmage, so he can't get pressed, right? So when we do our alignments, typically, this is all base offense. This is not, there's variables, there's different, they're running trips right, this, that. There's all kinds of different shit, right? But I'm just listen to me. In a standard offense, you have an X and a Y and a Z. Now your Y can be a slot receiver or a tight end, it doesn't matter. You're going to have that Z, he'll be off the line of scrimmage. He won't be covering the tight end. He'll be off the line of scrimmage. And that Z typically is a good route runner. He is. Okay, he's a good route runner, and he's an effective wide receiver. He's your wide receiver number 2. Brady Wilson is their starting center now. This is a 3-year starter from UAB. He just transferred in. Shout out to him. Drake Metcalf, there's one of those guys that has kind of found his way all the way to Virginia. Drake Metcalf used to be at St. John Bosco in high school, went to Stanford, got kicked out of Stanford because he wouldn't take the COVID vaccine. Then he ended up down at UCF, if I remember correctly. Yeah, played at UCF, and now he's up here playing at Virginia. Pretty strong kid. Used to be a really good player in high school. Chandler Morris, you know the deal. Crushed it at North Texas last year. But before that, he was dominating in the Big 12. He really was. He's just injury prone. But if he's healthy, Chandler Morris gives them a chance to play some ball. You better know Xavier Brown, and they're going to use a 3 running back system. So Jamari Taylor coming over from NC Central, former HBCU guy. He killed it all spring, so he took over everything. The guy that showed up late is Harrison Whaley, and Harrison Whaley's a baller. Harrison Whaley's been at Wyoming for the last couple of years. I think last year he only played in the final 4 games of the season. He was injured, but before that he was the leading rusher at NIU, and he was the leading rusher at Wyoming. So he's a guy who's taken over running back rooms everywhere. It's his final year of eligibility. I expect Harrison Whaley to be the starter, but he doesn't know the offense as well. Xavier Brown's very good, so I get it, but he got here late. He just transferred in like June, so it's an uphill battle for him. But shout out to Harrison Whaley. They really like him a lot. Running back room's pretty deep. Defensively, not the greatest defense in the world. Having to replace somebody like Sanker, who just went to the NFL draft, is fine. But you see this Fisher Kamek here guy? This Fisher Kamek guy, he's a specialized pass rusher. He got 7.5 sacks last year while at UNLV. He's a specialized pass rusher. They got a lot of depth. It's interesting to see Platt in the starting corner spot when you get a guy like Emmanuel Carnley coming over. Carnley was former Arizona corner. He's 6'3", transferred to Miami. Couldn't get into too deep at Miami. Now he transferred here. And when I say transfers, I'm talking like in January he was in Miami. He spent the spring with them, and now he's over here. Jason Prevard, another great transfer. DeMarcus Crosby. I've been talking about DeMarcus Crosby for 2 years, transferring in from, I guess he's transferring from New Mexico State, but he used to play ball at Sam Houston. Some of these guys have been around for a long time, a lot of experience, and it's depth, guys. It's good all the way 2-3 deep. I think they'll be able to handle injuries this year, but nobody's a superstar. Nobody's ACC all-conference caliber, so it might be a difficult season for Virginia, but I hope they pull it out and they do the best they can. Shout out to Virginia, okay? Let me go back to the matchups real quick. I'm going to get to the chat. Please drop it in the chat. I will read your chat. I will answer your questions if you have questions about the ACC. TikTok, if you're watching, move over to YouTube. Ask the questions. I got you. I will get there. Next matchup is LSU and Clemson. It's the big game of the week. Everybody wants to know who's going to win. Well, I just told you I think Clemson's the number 1 team in America. They're my favorite team, and LSU is right freaking there. LSU, I think, is number 4. Number 4 for me. So Clemson, LSU, both phenomenal teams. I got to just pick one, and I think Clemson's winning that game. Would you bet on it? Would you put? No, I would never tell you to bet on a game like that. Like I don't tell MVPs to bet on big games. We don't do that. We just enjoy them. We watch them. We learn about the teams, learn about the players. There's no reason to go pick the most difficult game the whole entire weekend. You don't make any more money if you get that right versus the one before it. You don't make any more money. It's the same amount of money whether you get it right or wrong. So now you're just betting against a really good team, which is stupid, when you could go over here and bet against teams that aren't nearly as good. Right? These are both very good teams. Shout out to Clemson and LSU, both in my top 5. Got a lot of respect for both programs. Expect great things from them this year. Shout out to them. SMU is going to blow out East Texas A&M. Every player at East Texas A&M that was FBS caliber transferred into the FBS. There was about 4 of them. And then you have SMU. They look like a well-oiled machine. They got a lot of good pieces, a lot of good parts. I believe in Jennings at quarterback. I think he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in America. And I know no one else agrees with me, because you're going to go out and list all your 5 favorites, and he's not anywhere near there. He is for me. I evaluate talent for a living, letting you know. Then we got Cal versus Oregon State. It's one of them coin flip games. You don't really know who's going to win this game. I can just tell you that Cal has a terrible offensive line again. Cal lost their quarterbacks. They're starting a true freshman at quarterback, but they have good linebacker play. They have an experienced coach who knows his offense, knows his things, and they're going up against Oregon State, who's losing a certain caliber of player. The talent is departed and depleted and all that, but they found pieces. Hankerson can really run the rock. If they keep handing it off to him, he should be able to dominate in this game. I think Hankerson could go for 100 yards. That linebacker core is pretty stout, but I think it's a 3-4 defense for Cal this year. And if it's a 3-4 defense, your outside linebackers are going to be your edge rusher. Your outside linebackers are going to be your 6'3", 220, 240 guys. And Cal's got 3 good linebackers. They're running a 4-linebacker set. There's going to be one terrible one out there, but it doesn't matter. I think that Oregon State is very boring. I think we're going to have to figure out what they got at quarterback, transferring in from Duke, former Texas quarterback. It's fine. It's just, I don't know who to pick. It's the middle of the night. Some of you guys won't watch it. It's at 10:30. It's on ESPN. I'll be live streaming the game. Shout out to the MVPs. We live stream every game. If you didn't know, we live stream every single game. Come watch them with us on the Discord server. We split the screens up into 4. We got everything going. We're watching everything, and we're talking about all the outcomes of the games. And then we got the last 3 games of the week. You got 2 games on Sunday, and they're the marquee matchups. You got Virginia Tech at South Carolina. I don't know why the line's so close. I don't think Virginia Tech is very competitive with South Carolina. I don't think they match up well. I don't like where they're at. Virginia Tech losing the majority of their wide receiver room, and I don't think you backfill it the same. Ollie Jennings, Jalen Lane, these are NFL caliber wide receivers, DeQuan Felton, and you just don't replace that again with just random transfers or development on your team. I just don't believe it. So, and they didn't even use them that well to begin with. So you're going to have a drop-off there. Then that means they can load the box and dare Kyron Drones to throw. Good luck doing that. Good luck throwing Kyron Drones. And these guys are very athletic. They're huge. The SEC line, the SEC defensive linemen and offensive linemen are so much better than a lot of the other conferences up front. They're just beastly up front for most of their teams, for the most part. I'm serious. So South Carolina should thoroughly win this game. Remember, South Carolina beat Clemson at the end of the year last year. Clemson was the best team in the ACC, and South Carolina beat them. This is not the best team in the ACC. This is not. I don't think it's comparable. I really don't. And the spread's only 8 points. It's silly. Shout out to Virginia Tech. Good luck. And Virginia Tech tried to find some answers in the transfer portal to replace Bishal Tuten, and they, by and large, they did, right? They brought in the kid, what's his name? Terrion Stewart, good running back from Bowling Green. I like him a lot. I think he's always been great. You know what he's not? He's not an every down back. They rotated him out with 3 other dudes all the time. And if you're going to rotate him out and you're going to get down to Braden Bennett, well, that's a rotational guy from Coastal Carolina who's not bad, but these are the guys that are supposed to carry you to victory. I think what you're going to see is a whole lot of Benji Goslin here. You're going to see a whole lot of Benji Goslin. Kyron Drones rolling out to Benji Goslin because you're not going to get anything else. They're going to take away everything else. They're going to force you to just hit your tight end and pray for the best. And then when you look at the defense, I'm going to say something about this defense. You see this James Jonkham guy here? Duncan, James Duncan. I don't know if the D silent, the J silent. We watch football games on mute. I don't listen to the announcers. And I watch film on mute. I just look for jersey numbers. James is a transfer from Eastern Michigan, EMU. And at EMU, he was a linebacker. And they said, hey, you want to come home? He's from Virginia. Brent Pry said, hey, you want to come home? You can come down here and be a defensive end for me. Which is kind of shady doing that because you have a senior in Keyshawn Burgos who's waiting his turn to be a part of this pass rush. And you go out and get a guy to start over him. And the other pass rusher you get is Ben Bell, who I like. Ben Bell's cool, man. He's a feel-good story out of Texas State, right? But let me show you guys something. I'll just pull this up right here. Let's just see. I don't even know what the height weight is. Ben Bell is 6'1", 231. 6'1", 231 edge rusher. You need to be 6'4", 6'5", 250 for the NFL to be interested in you. So this is what you got. Antoine Powell Ryland Powell, right? APR. What was it? Antoine Powell Ryland, the Florida transfer. You replace him with this. That's crazy. 6'1", 230. And I know he's strong. I watched him. We watched him at Texas State. We watched his 3.5 sack. Now, this is a guy that quit on his team at Texas State last year. I need you guys to know that. He quit on his team. Whether they said it was a nagging injury or what, but this dude played in 4 games and redshirted and then bounced. I don't like people like that. I don't. You quit on your team. And then James, he's a really good linebacker. He's 6'2", 260. All right, he's a little bigger for your edge rusher. Don't believe, like 98 tackles, Rico, that's a linebacker. Linebackers get a lot of tackles. And you move to edge rusher, you don't get nearly as much production. They're trying to recreate that Abdul Carter thing. I get it. But these guys are going to get swallowed. Can you imagine if you miss your initial move on the defensive line and you're 6'1", 230 and you miss your first move? You know what's going to happen to you? Like, let's just go pull up South Carolina. South Carolina started a true freshman at left tackle last year. Let's go see how big he is. Josiah Thompson. 6'7", 300 pounds. 6'7", 300 pounds. Starting left tackle, the blind side, the best spot. That is your best offensive lineman. Whoever plays left tackle is typically your best offensive lineman on your team. That's what you're up against. You got a guy 6'1", 230, and he's going up against a guy 6'7", 300 pounds. Oh, Rico, he probably won't be able to stop him. What are you talking about? They have a running quarterback. He's called quarterback draw, and we just go move furniture. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Notre Dame at Miami. Shout out to Notre Dame at Miami. Looks like a very competitive game. I have a lot of respect for both programs. They're both extremely talented. I'm not showing you my talent chart, but I'm going to tell you they're really close to one another on the talent chart. I'm going to take Notre Dame on the road. I know Jeremiah Love transfers, like travels. Like, I know Jeremiah Love travels. What I mean by that is, no matter where you go, what environment you're in, Notre Dame's got a running back that belongs in the NFL right now. And Miami's not known for having this amazing defense. Now, they addressed it. They went and found some answers. They tried to do whatever. But they're known for just getting mauled over and having to outscore you. And I think Miami's going to score a ton of points. A ton of points. Just not in this game. Just not. I just don't see it. Now, that 49 over there seems really low. They're playing in Hard Rock Stadium. Somebody better check the weather. I don't know what that's about. That's really low. Oh, and just so you know, this Virginia Tech South Carolina game, it's being played in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's a long travel for Virginia Tech. South Carolina, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. Columbia, down to Atlanta, it's like a 4-hour bus ride. But maybe 3.5-hour bus ride. But this one, this is silly. 49.5 points between Notre Dame and Miami. Who do you think's getting stopped? You think there's going to be some stout defense I don't know about? I think that score is going to be in the 60s. This isn't the same Notre Dame team. They had a bunch of graduates. They had a bunch of guys go and leave. They got good players. Oh, man, they got good players. Love Notre Dame. Miami's going to score. Carson Beck is him. Carson Beck has played in big games like this. Miami's going to score at least 20 points. At least. Thunderstorms in the Notre Dame game? Thank you so much, Triple B. So it's weather. Thunderstorms. So then we're just running the ball. Take Notre Dame by with your fucking life savings. And we're just running the rock. Notre Dame's got 3 running backs. Aeneas Williams is there. Sex, Love, Pain. Yo, I'm on that Tank shit. Buzz so big I could probably buy a blank disc. You don't know what I'm talking about, but they got running backs. Last name's Pain, Love, and obviously they got the real truth, bro. I'm with it. Shout out to Notre Dame. Shout out to Notre Dame. I think they win that game. Yep. And then the final game of the day on Monday, final game of the weekend, 8 p.m. We're going to put Bill Belichick on TV so the world can see him. And although I really like North Carolina this year, and I think they have the right depth, and they're still trying to figure each other out. North Carolina, I see way too many players at each position group competing for playing time. And I don't think they know who their best players are. Like, I don't think they know who their 3 best receivers are, their 5 best offensive linemen, or the right combination of guys yet. Because they have 8 or 10 really good guys in every position group. They have 6 linebackers that could all be starting. They have 8 defensive linemen that could all be starting. And I think they're still trying to roll it out and figure out. I know they use the fall to figure it out, but it's not quite there. And you're going up against a TCU team who I assess to be very good. I assess TCU to be very good. So I think TCU is winning that game on the road, and nobody agrees with me. They're a -3 favorite. I think they win that game on the road. I'm not interested in that spread at all. I don't like it. It is what it is, but it seems doable. It seems very easy for me. I like TCU a lot. Only thing TCU doesn't have is a consistent run game. Okay. TCU's real, bro. TCU's real. Shout out to TCU. Bud Clark. Yeah. Shout out to him. All right, I'm going to jump to the chat, and then we'll talk about Conference USA. Let me close all these windows. If you guys have any questions, I'll pull it up one at a time as needed. ACC, Conference USA questions, and then I'll get to you guys. Let me leave one window open for the ACC. There we go. All right, let's go to chat. Boom. Sorry it took so long to get here, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Let me interact with this, and let's go to the top and see what we got. Armin says, we are so back off first day back for college for me. Gonna chill with this in the background while I do homework. Shout out to Armin. Armin is a non-gambling MVP. Armin is an MVP who just wants the information. He doesn't care about none of the analysis, or he cares about the analysis, but none of the screenshots, pics, all that stuff. He's not interested in none of that. He just wants information. I appreciate him. We have MVPs like that. We have non-gambling MVPs because they just want the videos and stuff. Remember what I told you at the beginning of this video. Go to Patreon. Search RicoKnows. It'll change your life. Shout out to Armin. Willie Bobo says, what's up, Reekster? About time, bro. Shout out to Willie Bobo. He's on the West Coast, so I appreciate him joining us at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I do really appreciate Willie Bobo. He's a beast. Armin says, if you're not an MVP, what are you doing? Other cappers out here giving K-State 5-unit locks. Rico says, nah, let's go Kansas. Yeah, that's crazy, huh? That's crazy. I don't know about any of that stuff. I don't give you guys unit amounts or nothing like that. I just do analysis. You can put as many units as you want. That's your business. Every MVP is different, so shout out to them. Van Gord. Shout out to Van Gord. Been very helpful on the Discord server. Appreciate you. That's another MVP. By the way, if you're a YouTube MVP, your name will be in green here in the chat. So if you guys are wondering what the colors mean of people's names in the chat right now, the green ones are YouTube MVPs. Most of these guys are MVPs on Patreon, so they're not green. But just so you're aware, if somebody joins the channel or sends a super chat, they will get different colors. Shout out to you guys for tipping and becoming members. Look at my boy, Coaches Bryant. Coaches Bryant got the new job. He's got new hours. We haven't seen much of him, but he's still around. He says UFC is where it's at, but we cook an NCAA too. Coaches Bryant knows the deal. He's been winning in UFC all year long. It's just a good time. And if you don't win, at least you're watching the fights with me, bro. I'm the truth. Watch fights with me. It'll change your life. You'll never want to watch fights without me. I'm not even joking. Ask an MVP. I'm asking MVP. We shut it up. We don't want to hear Joe Rogan. We don't want to hear Daniel Cormier. They steal all my lines anyways. Everything they're going to say, I say it way before them. Just so you know. Shout out to them. Vanguard says, let's go. My future on SC has life. Okay. My future on SC has life. Oh, you have a future on them. Oh, future's bet. I get what you're saying now. I was like, your future. Your future. What did you find your wife over there, bro? Hey, I got news for you guys out there. Here's a tip for all the dudes out there dating in this world right now. Number one, don't treat a girl like a wife until she is one. Okay? Because if you start treating her like a wife, you're going to be heartbroken when she doesn't reciprocate. You're going to be heartbroken when she doesn't love you back like a husband. I see a lot of dudes going that extra mile for these women, treating them like wives, and then you find out she's got a work husband. You find out she's doing shit on the low. She's trying to leave you, whatever it is. And then they're all heartbroken. They're like, oh my God, I paid her car note and I gave her somewhere to live. And stop providing for these women If they're not there, just treat them like other people, bro. Because that's how they're treating you. I'm just keeping it real. Protect yourself at all times. Just letting you know. Do you think Clemson is going to good as they claim? Is going to good as they claim? Dylan, I think you're asking, are they going to be as good as they claim? I don't know who they is. I don't give a shit who they is. Listen to me. I am the source. You need to go around town. You need to go around school. You need to go around work. You need to go around your friends, your family. And you need to say, hey, I heard from RicoKnows Clemson's winning the national title. I heard from RicoKnows Clemson's going undefeated this year. That's what you need to start telling people. Stop saying they. And the next time you talk to somebody, you go, hey, do you think Clemson's going to be as good as RicoKnows says they are? That's the real question. Not they. They is some vague term we don't know. I'm talking about me, bro. I'm the source. Don't you get it? How do you think these people get like their rankings? You ever see the On3 rankings? It'll say On3 rankings via and some random ass dude's name, and then everybody starts quoting me and starts telling me, Rico, On3 says this. No, On3 does not say this. It's a dude named Eli. It's a dude named Eli, and he plugs his nose before he jumps in the pool. And when he stands up, he puts his hands in his back pockets, bro. When he's standing, both his hands go in his back pockets. That's the guy you're listening to for football rankings. He goes and takes part in parades. He goes and marches in solidarity for random shit, bro. That's who you guys are listening to. Little pussy ass dude, they never seen a football in their life. I'm sitting here right now, Willie Bobo. If you didn't know, Willie Bobo is my father. That's a football coach. I'm a football coach. I played football my whole life. I was the son of a football coach my whole life. Some of these people in here are my ex-players. I've been a journalist. I've been a sports writer since the year 2000. I've been analyzing sports since the year 2000 and getting paid for it. This is not a game out here. You don't accidentally get this good at evaluating talent and players. It's not because, this is just a guy sitting in front of his phone. Just a guy in front of his phone. If it was that easy, you got the same phone, bro. I got an iPhone 12X Pro. And I don't got a 13, 14, 16. I'm doing this with an iPhone 12X Pro. Download all the same apps. Start making videos. Start giving predictions and see if anybody gives a shit. See how accurate you are. Just start looking at rosters and just start going, that guy's a baller. Hey, I think that guy's going to be a baller. Didn't you see my video today? Dorian Pringle, starting middle linebacker for Bowling Green. 2 years ago, I said he was too good to be in the MAC. 2 years ago. He was a high school senior, and I said, this guy can't be going to Bowling Green. He's going to be starting there before you fucking know. True sophomore, starting middle linebacker right now. I think I do this. I look at all the players. I tell you, undrafted free agents that are making the teams right now. All the time. Why? Because I've analyzed every roster. I know every player. For the last 5 years, I can name everybody. I got notes and notes and notes. And for anybody that tells you cap, that's what the kids like to say, cap. I'll pull it up for you guys real quick. I'll pull it up for you. I'm not going to let you read it, but we can show you what it looks like. We can show you what the database looks like. We don't need to fake it. Look, here it is. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. This is the database. This is me and my notes on every single team in America. Every single box is a different position group. So you see here, it's in alphabetical order. There's Air Force, Akron, Alabama, App State. This is every position group. And every box has the players in the two deep on that particular team. And I write, and this is hand jammed. This is me writing notes on every single player in America. And I keep this going for years and years and years and years. And I don't stop. And I just keep going over all the teams over and over and over, adding to every one of these boxes. It's not Google. I don't have time to go to this website for this and this website for this and this one. No, I just created my own database. Right here. Everything. And when a player transfers, I go grab his notes and I move him to a different box, to the other team's box. Look at this. You can't fake this. Red means they're injured. Injured for the year. I do this is what I'm working on all day long. You see me typing on TikTok Live? This is what I'm working on. That's how you become great. You can't do it casually. So I don't know who they are, but I'm telling you who the fuck I am. And I'm the guy telling you Clemson's going to win the national title. By the way, I said Ohio State was winning the national title last year before the season. I called it in January. Everybody knew that, Rico. No. In January, I put it in 4K. Where was everybody else at? No one was doing that in January. The year before, Michigan, have it in 4K. Yep. We're on year 3. I haven't missed on the national title. Haven't missed. And we don't need to get started on how great I was when I predicted Indiana would go 9-0 last year. And the whole world wasn't talking about them. Now everybody goes, well, look at the schedule. Look at this. No. You look at it in fucking August, bro, and make the prediction. I just did a whole bunch of, I got the entire futures bets done. They're posted. They're on Patreon, posted. I've made a prediction on every single team for the whole season. Every single team. How many am I going to get right? We're about to find out. It's going to matter. I put my whole bankroll on futures. Not a joke. Does buying MVP on Patreon also get MVP on YouTube, or is it a separate purchase? So Ridge Too Tough, don't do both of them. That's number one. They are the same thing on both platforms. Here's the big difference, okay? On YouTube, you can't get screenshots of pictures. They have a pixel limit, so you can't get the chart. So YouTube MVP, you will get all the same videos. You won't get the same chart or the same format. YouTube also doesn't have the same playlist or collections the way Patreon does, okay? Now, Patreon also, if you can learn how to connect to the Discord server, then you can go in there and you can talk to all the MVPs. So there's 2,000 MVPs or so, maybe more, on the Discord server. I don't know how many people are over here, but look, in here, these are all the free channels. Think of Discord as a server chat room, a chat server room. There's all these free channels right here, but these are the locked ones right here. These trophies, this is the MVP stuff. If you go to Patreon, you can connect your Patreon to Discord, and then you can get to all of these channels and interact with all the MVPs, get their parlay and prop ideas, get the Q&A. But more importantly, you can get my prop ideas. You can get my weekly charts, all of my predictions. This is where I post all the charts. I post the same charts on Patreon. I can't post these charts on YouTube. So the only way to get them is to watch the videos and screenshot your phone. It's a little more difficult. By the way, YouTube, there's only about 100 MVPs in YouTube, maybe a little more, like 130-ish. On Patreon, there's over 1,000, right? So what you got to understand is there'll be 2,000 at some points during the year. What you got to understand is over here is where the people can interact and talk to each other. So they're talking to each other right now, giving each other ideas. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And this is where they help each other with their bets and what they're feeling. By the way, you can go see their wins. There's a wins channel here. You can see what everybody did to win money this weekend and how much they won and everything they do. You can see the bad bets. Those are the guys making poor decisions. But everything's in here. So this is a community. Think of AOL chat rooms. This is where people come to talk. The biggest thing about it is go to the live stream. MVP live stream, the stage. On here, when we're doing fights, I'm on this stage talking to you, giving you live betting advice, talking to you about all the fights and everything that's happening. When it's football, we got 4 games up in here on the screen, and we're talking about what's going on in the games. And then in the chat, the MVPs, if you hit this little chat bar, it'll be different on your phone. You can see all the MVPs talking throughout the whole day on everything they're hitting and everything they're doing. And this goes on forever. They'll saying you see right there, thanks, Rico. He just turned 50 into 140. Right? They just keep talking, and we do this. I mean, we were live streaming on this stage. I was from 3 in the morning until midnight on Saturday because we had UFC fights start at 3 in the morning in China. But that's what you're going to see here is some craziness. If you scroll back far enough, you will see all the conversation these guys have all day long. This is really important for MVPs to talk to one another so you can share ideas and understand what people are doing. And you can bring your questions in here and ask, and they'll help you out. You don't want to be alone sometimes. Sometimes you don't know what to do in situations, and these guys do. And we got some guys that have been in here for 3 years straight. We know who the guys are. We can have up to 300 people on the stage at any given time. We usually don't have more than 150. But some nights it's just 40, 50 guys. The same 40, 50 guys we see all the time. There are some MVPs who never show up. There's some MVPs who don't even watch these videos. I don't know what to tell them. They're just losers. We don't like them anyways. But yeah, you don't buy both of them. You don't need to do that. They're the same. Patreon's just a better format, and it gets you closer to the Discord. You can get to the Discord on YouTube, and all you have to do is when you get to the Discord, you're going to go in here, You go down here to connections. You go into connections right here. Boom. And then you'll be able to connect your YouTube account to the Discord server. And as long as you're an MVP, you'll be connected. Patreon is a little more difficult. There's a whole pinned video on Patreon to teach you how to do it. It's called Connected Apps. Oh, I just showed you nothing. You guys are going to see it. Here you go. So you go in here like this. You go down here. You go to settings, your own user settings. You go to connections. Connect your YouTube to Patreon. Or I'm sorry, to Discord once you become an MVP. You got to pay for it first. So you can pay for it at either platform. Then you got to connect to the Discord server if you want to interact with the other MVPs. But you'll always get all the videos. You always get all the videos, all the information, everything you're looking for. The 3-hour video of me breaking down all the week 1 games and telling you all my picks. Yeah, that's been posted all for the last 2 days now, or the last day. It'll be there all week. It'll be there all week. All the charts will be there. Screenshots, all kinds of stuff is there of different parlays, props, all that. We just keep posting. Prize picks, it's there. Props. Guys, I put out 1,600 props last year. Somebody asked me, Rico, do you put out any props? I put out 1,600 different props last year. Do you understand there's only 14 weeks? That means I put out over 100 props every single week on average. 1,600 props. The stats are all there. I'm not going to pull it up right now because I don't want the chart to actually accidentally come up and give away all my information. But you guys get what I'm saying. So shout out to you. Thank you for the question, Rich Too Tough. I hope I answered it clearly. If not, if they're still confused, please put it in the chat. I'll get to you guys. Remember, let the chat load up. You guys on TikTok, move over. I got you. No need to subscribe to me here. No need to subscribe to me on TikTok. That doesn't do anything for you. Doesn't do anything for me. It's just a money grab by TikTok. It's stupid. I would not be subscribing to me on TikTok. I don't even post my real videos on TikTok. TikTok is only trash, troll videos. Nothing on there is real. Just so you're aware. I'll even rank a video on TikTok and say, I think so-and-so's winning the game. I would not tell you any MVP level plays or anything like that. Adam Barrick says, why do you have LSU 11-1 when they play both Alabama and Clemson? Who do you have at 12-0? Which one mean Lay has 2 losses? Adam, there's no need to ask me questions like that. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. You don't need to know why I have things a certain way or where I have it. You're not an MVP. You're just asking random questions. I can't deal with you. That's not a conversation we would have in public. I'm good. We lit. What up, Josh Knows Ball? We are lit. Rico ain't lying with UFC. I've hit multiple times 4- and 5-leg parlays where football is near impossible. I wouldn't even make 4- and 5-leg parlays in football. Yeah, we don't even bother with that. Football is 2 legs at best. UFC, we can have 4 legs and 5 legs and do well. Shout out to you, Armin. Working here. What up? Oh, yeah, the chat was working. Thank you so much. Chad says, Stanford is horrible. You know, Stanford is who we thought they were. You're saying they're horrible, but that's just who they are. They don't have any other ability to play any other way. The transfer portal is really hurting Stanford, and it's from an academic perspective. Like, I think eventually Stanford and Cal are just going to drop football, and they're just going to be an academic institution, kind of like the Ivy League. Like, they don't want to spend any money on football. Stanford, nah, they're not doing it. Those administrators, they want to be known as one of the greatest universities on the globe, like in the earth. They want Stanford synonymous with Oxford and MIT. So they don't care. You want to transfer in? You can't transfer in. We're not allowing undergraduate transfers. You don't get to transfer in and get a Stanford degree if you were at FIU for the last 3 years, right? Theoretically. And I'm bringing this up because they allowed it to happen. And it's just one of those things they're frowning upon, just so you're aware. I'm all in on USC. Shout out to Willie Bobo. He's saying USC. He's talking about the Trojans. Fight on. Shout out to him. Do you think that UTEP's quarterback is actually 5-star talent that has been overlooked, or is he buns? You know, that's the problem with this generation. If you don't win the Super Bowl, if you don't win the Heisman, you're buns. If you're not a 5-star talent, you're buns. If you're not the best they've ever seen, you just suck. That's the problem with this culture. That's it. Like me, right? I tell you guys, I'm living a good life. I'm so happy. Kids will write to me and go, you ain't no multimillionaire. You ain't nothing. I saw Aiden Ross made $40 million last year. You're nothing. Some dude named Kai signed a $100 million contract. What are you doing? You're nothing. And I'm sitting back going over here. I'm like, yo, my bills are paid. My bills are paid. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not a loser. Now, you ain't nothing. There's levels to this. And when you look at a guy like Malachi Nelson, the new starting quarterback for UTEP, he should be really happy he's a starting quarterback at the FBS level. Why do people well, he's obviously not a 5-star quarterback. Obviously not a 5-star quarterback. That's number one. You're in a quarterback competition with Skylar Locklear, the backup quarterback from Austin Peay, who came over. Remember, Austin Peay had a quarterback starting. It wasn't Skylar Locklear. So when they move over, Scotty Walden, the head coach from Austin Peay, moves over to UTEP. He brings a bunch of players with him. Brings great receivers, all this stuff. But he brings over Skylar Locklear with him. And it's just the recruit. It's just the redshirt freshman he brought with him. It's not a guy who's starting. It's not a guy who's FBS caliber. It's just an extra guy they brought. And that's who you're competing with. And they don't announce you're the starter till fucking September, right? They don't announce you're the starter till August. That's crazy. And then you're asking, is he a 5-star? So he's obviously not a 5-star talent. But the worst part is you said, or is he buns? Do you understand that the only person buns around here is the recruiting websites that gave him 5 stars? For the rest of his life, you guys are going to refer to him as a former 5-star player. And then say he's buns. But it's not his fault. He was never a 5-star player. Recruiting websites called him a 5-star player. Turns out he's not. And now the blame is on him. Now he's a bust. It's like a first-round draft pick who turned out couldn't play football. He's a bust. Not the people who evaluated him and gave him 5 stars. Those guys, nobody even knows them. Nobody even talks about them. There's a guy named Bill. And he works at On3 and 24/7 Sports. And he travels around. Bill and Tom, they travel around. And they saw that kid, heard he was going to USC, and gave him 5 stars. It's the laziest thing you've ever seen. Because the recruiting websites don't really evaluate players. They evaluate the offers you get. The only people who really evaluate players are the colleges. Who's the best at evaluating players? The colleges. So when they hear a specific college is interested in this player, then they go and give that player stars. That's it. When you hear that guy's a former 4-star, why is he a former 4-star? Where'd he go? Where was he? Oh, it wasn't Minnesota. No, it was Michigan. Anybody transfer from Michigan to former 4-star. Why? Because anybody that Michigan values, they give them 4 stars. I need you guys to understand, why is Georgia so great? Why has Georgia been so dominant over the last couple years? Because they evaluate players differently. They can see a 3-star player, don't give a shit how many stars he has, and they go, yo, that guy's playing for us. Look at Georgia's players, and look how many 3-stars have been drafted over the last 3-4 years from Georgia. You'll be shocked how many great players at Georgia were 3-star players. And that's because they're not 3 stars. It's because Georgia knows how to evaluate talent. The recruiting websites have no earthly idea how to evaluate talent. They're just co-signing. They're just whatever. And if you think USC knows how to evaluate talent, if that's true, then where's their homegrown talent? Because they don't have it. We can talk about Barnett in the wide receiver room, transferring up to Oregon. We can talk about all 3 kids that signed out of Corona Centennial that year. Corey Foreman, number 2 player overall. Can't even start at Fresno State right now. Rotational guy at Fresno State. Not even the starting lineup. Number 2 player in the whole country. 5 stars. Who's the starting quarterback for USC? Is it somebody they recruited out of high school and then developed him? No. It's a guy that they saw play at UNLV and said, yo, he's better than the guys we have on our team. You guys got to understand, these guys are not evaluating talent correctly, and that's how you lose your job. So now they're all recovering, trying to find transfers. USC is not evaluating high school players really well. Who's their starting running back? You know? It was a JUCO transfer. They had to have a JUCO figure out whether or not that kid can play, put it on tape, and now we're interested. Where are their high school recruits? Where's Tackett Curtis? Oh, Rico, they got an amazing linebacker, Tackett Curtis. Where is he? He's starting for Wisconsin. And that's because they went and grabbed the leading tackler from Oregon State last year and brought him in the transfer portal. They're not evaluating talent correctly. They're just going and grabbing all the guys they can find that have been playing at other schools and going, yo, you come play for us now. I haven't seen a guy. There's been like 3 guys that they've evaluated out of high school that are in their 2 deep, that are worth a damn. About 3. No, that's why they're leaving. Branch leaves. Robinson leaves. Deuce Robinson leaves. They're just leaving. We got to get the fuck out of here. These guys aren't developing players. They're not evaluating players. It happens on every roster. It happens all over the place. But the worst is recruiting websites. And I'm sorry for going off on that tangent, but what I'm trying to explain to you is USC has this track record of misevaluating players. And that's why, despite the recruiting classes and any rankings or whatever, that's why the results are what they are on the field. So you go and get Malachi Nelson, you give him an offer. Now everybody goes, oh, he's a 5-star. And now he can't play anywhere but UTEP. And now you want to call him a bust, but the real bust are the people that are evaluating him and calling him a 5-star. That young man's just as good as he's ever going to be. That young man is doing what he can. I refuse to label these players bust unless there's only 2 reasons I won't support a college football player. And I think you guys know them. Verified character concerns. Verified character concerns, meaning you're a cancer in the locker room, you're doing illegal things, drugs, arrests. I don't like you because I'll just go support a player who doesn't have those problems. Don't care. And you guys can get all mad. Rico, you don't like black players. No, I don't like criminals. Give me a different black player that I'll support. Give me a different player that I'll support. I don't get down with this guy. I don't need to give him second chances. Those desperate college coaches who need to win games to keep their job and feed their family, they can give out second chances. I don't need to. I'm Rico. No, I don't need to give out second chances. I said 2 things. Number 1 is that, and then number 2 is injuries. Right? 2 things that can go wrong in your career to where I don't believe in you. If you got injured, there's nothing we can do about it. You're a bust at that point because you weren't. The best ability is availability. You're not available to play. You're no longer effective. You're a bad recruit. Oh, but Rico, it's just injury. It's not his fault. No, it is. You're brittle. It's the reality of life. Don't give a shit. Injuries happen. Right? Buy a ladder, bro. Buy a ladder. And then it breaks. And you want to turn around and you want everybody to go, hey, don't say anything bad about that ladder. I know it broke, but that ladder was good until it broke. It would have been good if it didn't break. No, but it broke. It's a piece of shit ladder. Right? So when you get a player and you evaluate a player and he breaks, it's not good. You got the wrong player. You made a poor decision. You got the wrong player. Probably should have studied his injury history. You guys ever study injury history? I study injury history like crazy. If you're a chronically injured person, I got a problem with you. I don't like it. I've seen players limp off the field and come back in the game two series later. Need help getting off the field, come back in the game 2 series later. What is that dramatic shit? I can tell you what it is. You never got your ass whooped as a kid. You never had a father tell you walk it off. Put some dirt on it. So you're out there babying yourself. You're tired. And then you come back in when you want to get the rock. When you want to go score again. I don't like that shit at all. I can tell when a player ain't shit. I can tell when a player ain't shit. You know, sometimes if you see a player go down with an injury, let's say you're a star running back. I'm watching your huddle tape. And let's say a player goes down with an injury. You know what I do? I watch the bench. I look at the bench. I like to see the reaction. Are they upset? Are they sad? Are they shocked? Do I see them worried? Or are they just like, yo, it's just another day, bro. He's down right now. It's cool. He'll get up. Don't worry about it. He'll be cool. You look at the coaches. They'll be walking around. They might look at each other like, he'll get up right now. And then you know what type of player you're getting. Get them all the time, bro. I'm a senior leader in the Army. I'm not a nice guy. Senior leader in the Army. Get them all the time. Same age of kids. 18 to 22, joining the Army. Go out for a run. Motherfucker starts complaining about a blister. You're supposed to win a war? With a blister? That's what's breaking you off? My toenail's gonna fall off, bruh. Get up. Let's go. I'm just letting you know. I assess things differently from you guys. So when you say a player's a bust, I don't look at it like that. I think the people evaluating him are a bust. Let's get that shit straight. By and large. 80% of the time. I don't know what percentage I want to put on it, but I'm just letting you know. It's a significant percent of the time, the player is not the problem. It was the misevaluation of the player's talent. So, no, I don't think he's buns. And I don't think he's being overlooked. And I don't think he's a 5-star. Got it? Cool. Dave in Arizona. You guys see his name is green? Dave in Arizona is an MVP on YouTube, and he's been around from the jump. Shout out to Dave. He says, good afternoon, Rico. What was your favorite Week 0 player that impressed you the most? Shout out to the irresponsible one-legged dads. Okay, so I don't want to get into that. But the player that impressed me the most, he's a true freshman, plays at Western Kentucky. Let me try to pull this up here. And he's from Georgia. His name is Parrish. I'm going to pull him up here, box score. And the reason he impressed me the most is, number one, teams try to keep guys under wraps so you don't know who they are. And Marvis Parrish right here. Let me pull this up. Sorry, guys. Marvis Parrish right here. 12 carries, 52 yards, 4.3 yards a carry. Not a big deal to you. Not a big deal to you. But I do know that Marvis Parrish, true freshman, former starting running back at Lowndes here in Georgia, 7A football. Shout out to the Vikings. Here's what I know. He is so far from being in the starting lineup his first day on campus. His first day at school, first day on the team, he's so far from the starting lineup. You got a graduate transfer in Lavelle Wright who just transferred in. You got George Hart who's been on this team for multiple years. And you're fighting for reps and you're fighting for time and you somehow become the starting running back. And I see burst from you. I see balance. I see everything I'm looking for in a running back out of Marvis Parrish. And you go and look, and they tell you he's a 2-star player. Rivals rated him 2 stars. It's another example of those recruiting websites not knowing how to fucking evaluate players. So he didn't have a bunch of offers. He didn't have high offers, so they immediately go, he's not a 4-star. And then what happens? Why? He went to a camp and didn't run fast enough for you? You can't watch tape? Look, guys, if you're the starting running back at Lowndes, 7A football here in Georgia, starting running back, you're not a 2-star player. Impossible. Impossible to be a 2-star player starting at Lowndes at running back. Trust me. Been living in Georgia for 10 years now. Georgia high school football is amazing. The amount of players on college rosters, I study every roster. The amount of players on college rosters from Georgia will shock you. Will utterly shock you. And I'm telling you, Marvis Parrish, recruiting websites don't know what the fuck they're doing. Didn't evaluate him at all. Not interested. And it's the same thing that happened last year. You guys remember I did an evaluation on Fluff Bothwell? Fluff Bothwell rushed for 2,000 yards, had over 100 tackles, and they said he's going to South Alabama, so they didn't talk about him. And I did a high school film review on him, and I said, this is crazy. This guy looks amazing. I don't know what player I described him as. It might have been like Herschel Walker or something. I don't remember what I said. But Fluff Bothwell balled out of control last year as a true freshman at South Alabama. Ahmed Hardy, same thing. Both of those guys were 3 stars, and they're really 5-star players. But the recruiting websites gave them 3 stars. Why? Because they had offers to South Alabama and ULM. And they refused to believe South Alabama and ULM have 5-star running backs. And so much so that they just ignore them. They don't even evaluate them. They don't care. They just give them a default 3 stars. They didn't look at that tape once. They never met that kid a day in his life. There's no notes in a write-up or anything. And now, they're running backs in the SEC. Dudes hit the transfer portal. Motherfuckers are running backs in the SEC. How stupid you feel now? Oh, now you want to give them 4 stars. Now they hit the transfer portal, and you find out they got offers from Missouri. And now you want to go, oh shit, we got to do this. And that's the silliness of these recruiting websites. They just mimic what they see. They're nothing, bro. They're a money grab. They talk about rumors all year long. So-and-so's down to his final 12. He's down to his final 8 teams. Where's home? They do that shit all year long. They just sit there and just guess where somebody's going to go. 10 reasons why he'll go here or there. And it doesn't even matter if they're right or not. Doesn't matter if they're accurate or not. They still get paid. It's fucking silly, bro. It's embarrassing. Can't stand them dudes. Shout out to you guys. Tucker Napier says Landon Thomas has been banged up most of camp. Okay, thank you so much for that information. I was unaware. Still think he's a phenomenal player. Shout out to him. Finally, the SEC playing 9 games. Finally, the SEC is moving to 9 conference games. It's important. It will lessen their win-loss total. It will impact their strength of schedule. It will impact their rankings, especially their end-of-season rankings, which will then, in turn, impact, theoretically, their preseason rankings. Highly doubted. But nonetheless, it's going to be a more challenging task to be a winning record or a winning team in the SEC, and that's good because that's how tough it is in every other conference. Every other conference is that difficult because it's math, right? You got to play each other. No more getting to play out of conference game. I don't give a shit who the out of conference game was. You were ensuring you didn't beat another SEC team. Now you don't get to do that anymore. They're mad about it. I promise you they didn't want to go to 9 games. No. They blame money the first couple years. They blame this. They blame that. I don't want to hear about none of this shit. They just didn't want to go to 9 conference games because it forces you to play one another and give half the conference another loss. And they don't want to do that. Well, they have to now. Shout out to them. This fool looked like a Frenchie. I'm not sure who you're talking about at halftime, but if you're talking about me, you will get blocked. I don't know what that means. Thunderstorms. Oh, yeah, shout out to the Thunderstorms. Notre Dame game. I am from South Bend. They were talking about the weather on the news about this game. They were even just saying thunder delay may happen. Okay, thank you so much. That's very important. What up, Reek? Hey, what up, though? What up, E-Money? Shout out to E-Money. E-Money's the one and only. That's my boy. I've known him my whole life. Appreciate him. Bet on that, boss man. Shout out to you, Dylan. I don't know what you're talking about. By the time I get to the chat, I don't know what you said. Remember, TikTok, if you want to get a question in, drop it in over here. We'll read it. We don't read down here. Just letting you know. Whenever I bet on a game against my dad, he's always like, nah, my team's going to win. But then I say, no, Dad, Rico knows. Yeah, get a new dad, bro. Get a new dad. Tell your mom. You shouldn't be talking to me. You should tell your mom you need a stepdad. We got to get rid of this bum-ass dude who brought me into this world. Like, he ain't even about that life. If your dad don't know sports, you got to get a new dad. That's all it is, right? Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Your dad don't know, but your stepdad knows. If you need a stepdad, I just want to be aware. I'm a man with a gun. I am technically single. So I am prepared to be your stepfather. Do you want more brothers? Do you want more sisters? Let's figure it out. But if I was your stepdad, then your stepdad would really know. Just letting you know. DeQueezy says, does Tulane make the playoffs if they win the American with 1 or 2 losses all season? So, no. No, they're not going to make the playoffs unless... No, they're not going to make the playoffs if they lose a game. So the theory here is Boise State's going to win the Mountain West. And if Boise State's only loss is Notre Dame, they're going to get in over Tulane if Tulane has a loss. Let's make that very clear. If Boise goes 11-1, by the way, that would mean they have a win over Tulane. So Tulane needs to win this week, and then they need to win the American without losing another game. But they can't have 2 losses and make it. It's not a thing. And by the way, Conference USA champ, Liberty, they're going to be 11-1 as well. So Liberty's going to be 11-1. Sun Belt champ, probably not going to be 11-1. They're very deep and difficult in the Sun Belt. But, yeah, Mountain West, American, and Conference USA, I think, are the 3 conferences that have a chance at having a representative in the college football playoffs. Those are the 3. The MAC's not in it. No way. And shout out to Toledo. I really like them a lot. And then you have Sunbelt, just feels like it's too competitive. Coaches Brian says, listening to UFC or NCAA commentators now makes me nauseated. And my cousin who's been covering UFC commentary for decades. It's Rico knows or I'm not watching. Shout out to Coaches. Coaches knows the deal. These MVPs, they be feeding, bro. About twice a year, I won't live stream the fight card. So I won't watch the fights with the MVPs about twice a year. And those 2 times I don't do it, they just skip the fights. Like, they won't even watch them. They'll be like, oh, I didn't watch those. You weren't live stream. I'm not watching them, bro. I can't listen to those guys. They don't know what they're talking about. Daniel Cormier, they don't know what they're talking about. Bisbing, they don't know what they're talking about. I predict things before it happens, guys, in the fight. I'll be like, oh, well, he's working on this move. He's going to move his leg here, do this, do this, do that. Oh, guys, did you see that movement right there? Okay, this guy's going to get knocked out in the next 30 seconds. Like, just listen to me. Look, he's circling the wrong way. He's not moving this. He doesn't control this. And like, I just start talking crazy. And MVPs have caught on. I'm saying shit the announcers would never say. And then when they finally do say it, they'll say it in the review when it's like somebody in their ear told them, oh, by the way, so-and-so. I'll be like, look, that's his 3rd knockout in his life. Da-da-da-da-da. It's just crazy. It's a different thing when you watch it with somebody who's real, like somebody who really knows this shit. Yes, should I be doing this job in that perspective? Should I be a color commentator or a play-by-play guy? I don't think I'm proper enough for play-by-play, but color commentation, hell yeah. I would love to do it. I would love to do it. Just don't want to miss the fights with the MVPs. That's the only reason, right? But they only want former fighters doing it. We know the deal. Dylan says, my friends don't know because Rico knows. No, it's not my fault. Your friends don't know because you have really bad friends. It ain't because I know. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows, sure. But it's not because of me. No. Get new friends. E-Money says, and I was the scout with the camera driving my ass an hour away. Shout out to E-Money. He was one of our scouts when I was a football coach, and appreciated him. He was one of the scouts that would go out and catch our other teams that we were playing against weeks in advance. Always our cameraman, always getting down, doing things. I appreciate you, E-Money. Shout out to you, man. That's cool. Four says, no need to show receipts. Us MVPs can vouch. Thank you so much, Four. There's always a reason to show receipts. There's somebody in the chat right now skeptical. There's somebody on TikTok hating. There's always going to be somebody not believing. You got to show receipts. It's important, but I do appreciate the MVPs for vouching accordingly. Dylan, that's so true. Shout out to you. What did Dylan say? Dylan said, my friends don't know. Oh, that is very true. Shout out. DeQueasy says, Illinois is going to be Indiana 2.0 this year. Not necessarily. And the difference is Illinois is not catching anyone off guard. Like everyone knows, Illinois has a great team, a lot of production returning, a lot of seniority, a ton of talent. No, they're not surprising anybody. It should come as no surprise that Illinois is going to be that good. Now, is Illinois better than Indiana? They're really, really comparable teams. Very close on my talent chart, and I think the world of both of them. So shout out to them. Let's get that money, Rico. I believe in you. I believe in you, Andres. Make the right decision. Shout out to you. DeQueasy says, do you have a team you're looking forward to watching the most this year for entertainment's sake? So it's probably going to change week to week or anything like that, but there are teams that I like for entertainment's sake. Ash is mad about something. That means somebody's here. I apologize. Sorry, my God. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. I'm interested in Boise State, South Florida. I'm interested in these teams all year round. I'm going to keep scrolling and see if I see any other teams that catch my attention. I'm interested in Buffalo like crazy. I need to go check why she's barking. I don't want to leave the live stream. Illinois will be exciting to watch. Baylor, Auburn, Georgia Tech, San Jose State. Yeah, I'm interested in a lot of teams, guys. I don't know what to say to you. I think the biggest thing is I look forward to watching Clemson every week. I want to watch Clemson and what they're doing. They feel real. So shout out to them. I'm looking forward to them the most. Love these breakdown videos. Thank you, Rico. Shout out to you, Vince. If you love these videos, you should be an MVP because I break them down much more in depth for 4 hours, okay? It's not just wave top information and keep it moving. I talk about every prop bet, every player, what I think they're going to do in the game, everything. Obviously, I did 1,600 prop bets last year. That's what I'm talking about. I really, really break them down for the MVPs, but I appreciate you nonetheless. Enjoy the free video. Just want to say I'm a new MVP, and I enjoy the authenticity from you. You keep it real. Thank you, Josh Knows Ball. I appreciate you, man. I like new MVPs showing up and saying that. Tell a friend. Tell a family member. Tell somebody, bro, because we've been doing this like this for a long time. I take a lot of pride in being authentic and just telling it like it is, so I appreciate people who can admire that instead of the people who look at me and go, oh, what a douchebag. Oh, he's not humble. Oh, I don't like him. All those people, they're just insecure. They probably got to keep their girl away from me too. You know, they might end up empty-handed. It's just the way of life goes. Alpha males, you know, meat eater, leaf eaters. It's just the way it is. Bunch of herbivores walking around. When you meet another dude who's about that life and they appreciate you for who you are, typically they're very secure with themselves. They can appreciate game recognized game type deal. They're just, you know, when I meet another alpha male, another dude who's like, yo, this is my joint, whatever, I appreciate the guy. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man. Awesome. I like it. I don't need to be around him too much, but I get it. And I respect it. Now, if you're real beta, I can't stand you, bro. Just get away from me. I just want to shoulder check you and keep it moving. So I appreciate you, Josh. Thank you. Team Divorce says, I never thought about it like that. You're right, Rico. Wrong version of the word your. Y-O-U''RE. It's called a contraction. You're not giving birth. You're just putting two words together, just so you're aware. But I appreciate you. I don't know what I was right about. You said it at the wrong time, but I'm assuming it was evaluating 5-star players. There you go. That's crazy. I guess Rico is my half stepfather. Never half, bro. Never go half. Put it all in. I'll be your real stepdad. You take my last name, bro. That's how much of a step. You rechange your name. You be walking around Rico. Bisping might actually be the worst commentator in the history of sports. This might be true. Coaches Bryant says, and when an RK hits during the live stream, get ready for Rico Eruption in 4K. I do lose my mind sometimes. I guess people like to watch it for that. We did miss 2 RK bets last week. If you don't know, RK bets are RicoKnows bets. Those are like the lock of all locks, the ones I really believe in. It's typically bets where I've evaluated fighters differently from the rest of the world, and I go, hey, I know everybody's saying this, but I'm going to go this other way, or I really feel this about this, or whatever it is. And the RicoKnows bets, I believe, are 9-3 on the season. So 9-3, pretty good. I believe that's 75%. That's 75% hit rate. Usually a really good payout, good ROI on those. So MVP, there's a reason to scream. Shout out to the MVPs. I don't want to be a burn, but can we start talking about Conference USA now? Yes, always. We will always talk about Conference USA when we get through the chat. This is the format of the show. Don't try to change it. Just relax. Go with the flow. We will eventually get there. And by the way, since I'm broke, I'm literally playing NCAA 14 right now. I don't care about your financial situation. That's not my problem. I don't care what video game you're playing or what you're doing. If you're broke, you shouldn't be playing video games. Probably shouldn't be watching me right now. You should probably be working, trying to make the most of your life and going out there to be great. Just letting you know. Andres Linson says, do you still believe in the don't bet against Pavia? So that was a year ago. We always talked about it. Blanket rules like that, it's like a joke almost, right? It's something we say in the moment. I haven't seen a situation where I've had to apply it yet. We'll see what happens. I've always been a believer. If you guys don't know, Diego Pavia, 2 years ago when he was at New Mexico State, won us a lot of money because of weekday games, and I always believed in Diego Pavia. So when he moved over to Vanderbilt and the whole SEC thought Vandy was going to lose games, I just laughed, and I was like, nope. Don't bet against Diego Pavia. That dude is the bee's knees. I've watched him play football. He just is a gamer. He's going to win. He does nothing special, but he ain't no punk. He's not going to go out there and pull Ben Goldbranson. He's not going to pull whatever this loser is at K-State, Avery Johnson. He's not going to lose games. He's just going to find a way to win because he got the heart of a lion, and he's super competitive. So I really appreciate him and everything he does. I still believe that you probably won't make a good living betting against Diego Pavia. You probably won't. Just letting you know. It's like don't bet with food. Yeah. Until Vegas gets a rice game wrong, then we bet on food. Exactly. If you guys don't know, I have another phrase, we don't bet on food, meaning just leave the rice games alone because rice is tough to get right. It's hard to predict what rice team is going to show up. Same thing can be said for Sam Houston and obviously Vanderbilt if you're trying to get a bet against them. All right, let's go talk about Conference USA matchups. We'll get back to the chat. If you guys want to just load up the chat, put in all your questions, comments, concerns, just let it build up. We'll get to you guys, promise. All right, let's go back to the show. All right, Conference USA here. So, Conference USA, first thing we're going to talk about is their results. They had one game, and it was Western Kentucky against Sam Houston. Now, that's an in-conference game to start the season, and obviously, we were on Western Kentucky to cover the spread, believed in Western Kentucky, something I talked about before the game with the MVPs. I told them Maverick McIver is the truth, and now the whole world's going to pretend like they knew this before the game. I was the only one really talking about it. Maverick McIver transferring over from Abilene Christian with his offensive coordinator, Rick Bowie. They show up, and they start balling out of control, throwing for 400 yards on an opening day. If you go back and look at all the transfer quarterbacks that have shown up to Western Kentucky, they always play good when they get here. They just show up, and they just ball out of control. Shout out to Tyson Helton, allowing his offensive coordinators to show up with continuity and going and making that happen. Matthew Henry transferring in from the FCS, former wide receiver with Western Illinois, the Leathernecks. But this guy, 148 yards and a touchdown. He's got a little more juice than anybody else in Conference USA. He's going to put up numbers. He's going to put up numbers. He can beat you on a deep fade. He can catch the ball any way he wants. He was an 1,100-yard receiver last year. I believe he's going to put up similar numbers in Conference USA without issue, especially in this offense. Musa Berry down there. Musa Berry's a baller. Marvis Parrish, I already talked about him earlier in the show. Rewind the show. Jarris Mack's a baller. Katie Hutchinson is actually really good slot receiver. So they got 5, 6, 7 weapons. They got 5, 6, 7 weapons on this team. They got it all going on. Got it. Great. Now, defense. Defense gave up 2 really big burst plays. Shout out to Alden McCaskill. And we'll get to him when we start talking about Sam Houston. And then, obviously, Hunter Watson running everywhere. Now, Hunter Watson is a known commodity in the quarterback world, at least by me. I told you guys he's a crafty, athletic guy who can't really throw the ball. He just runs everywhere. Now, he did throw the ball, I thought, pretty decent in this game. The only difference is they didn't utilize Humphreys as much as I anticipated. And that's important because I think Humphreys is a former leading receiver on this team. If I go look at Humphreys last year, 20 receptions, 384 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and almost 20 yards a catch. He's a big play threat guy. He's really fast. He looks really goofy. But this guy needs to be more involved in the offense. So if you're looking for an over yards, I'm sure Vegas is going to autocorrect this, or they're going to correct it. So where you're looking for a prop on either Prize Picks or anywhere else, when you start looking at this guy and they're going to price him out at maybe 20 yards, take it. Take it. Eventually, he's going to get back in the rotation or be targeted to the point where he's going to get over those yards. I promise you, he's really good. So it's weird to see him down here at 1 for 9. Go back and watch the game. Check to see how many targets he had. I didn't check. I guess we could pull it up if we needed to. But we were watching this game, and you just saw you see ballers. I think you see a team that's kind of frustrating and annoying. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that I don't believe in the direction they're headed. Right? If we go up here, Sam Houston, boom. It all starts with Phil Longo. It all starts with Phil Longo. Phil Longo, former offensive coordinator at North Carolina, former offensive coordinator at Wisconsin, coming over to this team. I don't think he has a clue what he's doing when it comes to the offense. I don't think he gets the most out of his players. I think he had an athletic advantage at North Carolina because of recruiting, because you had 5-star quarterbacks in Drake May and Sam Howell. So you had this ability to go out and do things. But you know what? If you go back and look at Drake May, he was the team's leading rusher because this guy didn't know how to use Hampton. Like, he didn't know how to use some of the best running backs in the country, Omar and Hampton. Like, it's weird. It's weird anybody believes in Phil Longo. And then you go to Wisconsin. You've been there 2 years. You know why it never took off in this high-flying offense, all this? You didn't know how to use talent. And you don't have an athletic advantage and a talent advantage at Wisconsin. You don't have 5-star players. You don't have what you had at North Carolina. Mac Brown was getting 5-star guys coming in. That's not here. So now you go down to Sam Houston, and now at a school like Sam Houston, you actually have to win with development and having players, just getting the most out of your players. And this is not what Phil Longo does. Phil Longo's like this. What's his face at Jacksonville State? Where is it at? Am I tripping right now? Charles Kelly at Jacksonville State. They both are like 1A, 1B of coaches who they win when they have the best players, or at least they find a way to win when they have the best players. But if they don't have the best players on the field, they're abysmal. They're terrible. So do I think Sam Houston's going to win some games? Hell yeah, they are. They're annoying. They're going to get first downs. It's going to go well. Shout out to my boy. What is this? They don't even have the right lineup here. Alton McCaskill shows up and breaks for what, 55 yards? Alton McCaskill, 52 yards, excuse me. But if you see that he broke out for 52 yards and he got 6.5 yards a carry, it's not really true. It's 52 yards, and then he got 20 yards on the next 10 carries. He averaged 2 yards a carry on 10 of those carries, and then he had one long run. I want him to do better, but when you're averaging 2 yards a carry, the running back behind you is averaging, or it's a wide receiver, but they're running end arounds with him, but he's averaging less than 2 yards a carry, 6 carries for 10 yards. That's 2 yards a carry from two guys, and you got Hunter Watson, who's just a beast running around and scrambling. But even Hunter Watson, 55 yards on 1 carry, and then 36 the rest of the way. 36 on 13 carries, that's 3 yards a carry. So it's 3 yards or less from Sam Houston unless you get those 2 burst plays. That's not good. That's not good, guys. That's not good at all. And shout out to Western Kentucky, but their defense didn't play great. They played good enough, but not great. I'm sure they're happy with the win, covering the spread. They had a bend, don't break defense, and then at the end they had a nice goal line stance and stopped them from scoring. It is what it is. Sam Houston's just not going to be elite. Let's look at the other matchups here. Jacksonville State at UCF. I don't expect Jacksonville State to be competitive. I don't. And I know a lot of people are high on Jacksonville State. They expect Jacksonville State to cover this spread. It's minus 19. I'm just not there. Shout out to UCF. I think that they have a much better team than Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State lost a number of players to the transfer portal. They lost all their players that were significant last year, except for what? Bubba Grayson? Yeah, one stud lineman who doesn't belong there. Other than that, everybody else kind of bounced, right? Anybody who was worth a damn, West Virginia took them. Rich Rod and staff took them up to West Virginia. Other people went everywhere else. But for the most part, Jacksonville State, for me, doesn't move me like that. Now, in Conference USA, their defense is going to look good. In Conference USA, they're going to look very good and very competitive in conference because that's a terrible conference. But against UCF, nah, it shouldn't work that way. UCF should go out there and handle this. Next game is Delaware at Delaware State. I told you guys I didn't review Delaware. Let me pull up their roster. Delaware, the Fighting Hens, when you look at their roster, I need you guys to know something. They got some sneaky good players like Delaware. So first, I'm looking at the roster. Max Patterson and Thomas Amankawa. These are both Rutgers transfer wide receivers. So these are FBS transfer wide receivers. Jake Thaw is a transfer from Michigan, and he used to play at Michigan. Like, he used to be a punt returner there, if I remember correctly. And then Nicholas LeBoy is a former All-Ivy League wide receiver. They got players, guys. They're sneaky good players here that people aren't paying attention to, so I'm down with it. Their quarterback's older than most people. Oh, there's Caleb Farr. So Caleb's a transfer from Colorado. Yeah, his dad used to play, right? Yeah, he's a transfer from Colorado. And then their running back, Veron Ellison Jr., if that's their starting running back, this is a good team. He's a transfer from Tulsa. And he always had a little bit of burst to him. He always looked pretty good. I liked him. So this team looks, they got some FBS talent here. This is an FCS. This is an FBS level team, and from some of those players. I don't recognize a lot of these names. I'm going to learn as I watch the games, but I'm encouraged when I see graduate transfers, senior transfers, graduate seniors. Like, I'm encouraged with seniority and maturity. I am. We'll see what happens. I got to learn about this team. This is a team I don't know. And I never fake like I know something when I don't. I will say this. They're supposed to beat the hell out of Delaware State. The hell out of them. This Delaware State's been a terrible team for many, many years. And they're still trying to get up off the floor. I think Delaware's a 35-point favorite in this game. I'll be curious to see if that happens. I hope it does, for their sake. Okay. And then the next game is Kennesaw State at Wake Forest. Ugh. I already talked about this on the ACC side. Kennesaw State has some decent players, some good secondary guys. I think they're a crafty team. As long as they don't quit on themselves, they can keep up and play with anybody, kind of, sort of. But Wake Forest has a better pedigree of player. They're going to have some growing pains. They're going to be learning a new system on both sides of the ball. I like the under a lot in this game. I like the under a lot. I'm going to move it on the chart just so you guys are aware, and I'll figure that out. Bethune-Cookman at FIU should not be a competitive game. FIU should beat the brakes off of them. Bethune-Cookman just doesn't have good football, and FIU has better players. They just do. Okay? So we'll figure that out as we go. UNLV and Sam Houston are playing. That spread has shrunk. It was 12.5. It's now 10.5. Everybody's really impressed with Sam Houston's fight in the game and able to move the ball and play, and then no one's impressed with what they saw from UNLV. Trust me, I think it's an overreaction. I really do. UNLV's defense was terrible, and if you don't play sound defense, you're going to give up points to Sam Houston. You're going to give up points. But can Sam Houston stop Jet Thomas, who's currently the nation's leading rusher? I don't think they can. And I'm saying this because Jet Thomas is fast. Look at that over-under. It's at 60 points. They expect a lot of scoring in this game. I would say Sam Houston's going to score about 24, and UNLV might score 30-something. So it feels like they're dialed in on the over-under and the spread, but it looks like a game that should be fun to watch, I guess. Fun to watch. On a Friday night at 9:30, it's fun to watch. It's fine. Then we got the Saturday games. Maine at Liberty should be a complete blowout. Liberty, I have them going 11-1, so I have them doing great things. Austin Peay and MTSU, I'm going to be watching this game very closely because I'm extremely high on MTSU this year, more than anybody could imagine. I'm even higher on Western Kentucky, just so you know. Shout out to them. And they're playing North Alabama. North Alabama got some decent transfers, but they can't play with Western Kentucky, of course not. Excuse me. USC and Missouri State. Missouri State just moved up to the FBS, just moved into Conference USA. USC should go out there and put the beat down on them. It's a 35-point spread. I think USC should cover that. USC's beast, so shout out to them. La Tech in Southeast Louisiana. I don't know what's going on there. Last time I saw La Tech on the field, they were winning 33-0 over Kennesaw State, and they're returning a bunch of players. Is Amari Wiggins still on this team? Let me double check that real quick. La Tech. Amari Wiggins. Yeah, La Tech's beating these guys by 50, bro. Like, not 50, but you know what I'm saying. Like, 12.5 MVPs. It's a rivalry game? Southeast Louisiana had a good year last year, had a good running back, Antonio Martin. He transferred. He's gone. They got a lot of pieces they got to replace and figure out. The bulk of their offense is gone. Whatever. That's nuts. UTEP at Utah State. Obviously, UTEP just announced their starting quarterback. Everybody's going to be excited about UTEP. They have really good receivers. It's a great receiver room, and they're traveling over to Utah State. Utah State's a 6-point favorite. That should tell you something. Despite all the positives that we're talking about UTEP, Utah State's a very good team. Very good team. That's a Mountain West team. Mountain West, if you didn't know the pecking order of Group of 5 teams, Mountain West, Sun Belt, American. Those three are the beasts. They're the ones. And then underneath is the MAC. And then underneath that is Conference USA. Conference USA is some of the worst teams out there in comparison to a team that's from the Mountain West. So it's a different pedigree of team, different money on the field. You can see it. And then we have Bryan at New Mexico State. Bryan, an FCS team, been good for many years, been all right, but they're playing New Mexico State. That spread is 20 points. New Mexico State is terrible. But should they win by 20 or more? Nobody wants to travel to Las Cruces. It's a terrible place to play football, especially coming all the way from New York. I think Bryan's in New York, right? That's a crazy travel time to Las Cruces. It's gross. So that's Conference USA. Pretty bad football. I'm going to run to the chat one last time, and then we'll end the show. If you got any questions, please put them in now. If you're watching on TikTok, move over to YouTube, drop it in the chat, and we'll go from there. Somebody wrote in the chat, he blocked me. Yeah, I'll block anybody, bro. I'll block anybody. Anybody talks out of turn, you're blocked. You troll, you're blocked. You say something stupid, you're blocked. We don't need people in our channel, in our platform, that are just not conducive to a positive atmosphere. And if you don't rock with me, you're blocked. I don't like you. So anyways, let's go over here. There shouldn't be much left. Should be pretty easy. Excuse me. See what we got. Interact. Boom. During the year, going against or with Sam Houston will make you age exponentially. Shout out to Coaches Bryant. MVPs know this for many years now. Betting with or against Sam Houston will really hurt you. You will age. You'll have a rough 30 years. You'll have a rough 40 years. It'll be tough. Shout out to you. I had a class with KD Hutchinson today. Shout out to you, I appreciate you, man. Shout out to the Hilltoppers. Yeah, all right, chat. There it is. So that's my episode on the ACC and Conference USA. Remember, we're going to do one of these every single day. So we'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Before you leave, make sure you throw that like button. If you're watching on your phone, tap your screen. It should come up. Hit the like button. If you leave the chat or you leave the show, you'll be able to hit the like button before you come in tomorrow or every single day in the future. Hit like before you enter. It just helps. It just helps. It helps other people see it. I don't need views, guys. I'm not here for views or subs. I just want people to become MVPs. I want you guys to make your money. We need to get the word out. We're doing amazing. You guys got to be a part of it. I appreciate you guys. Nonetheless, remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. I don't have my outro screen, so you're going to just look at me. Peace.
Rico knows what we doing, baby. We chillin' tonight. We got college football. We got UFC. We got sports betting and high school football film reviews. Rico knows what we doing, baby. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, and 3, 2, 1, go. Rico knows what we doing, baby. We chillin' tonight. We got college football. We got UFC. We got sports betting and high school football film reviews. Let's go. In 3, 2, 1, go. Rico knows what we doing, baby. We chillin' tonight. We got college football. We got UFC. We got